All right, hello everyone. We're getting started on the CPL 6, the grand finals. We're finally here. With me tonight is Camodaz, one of our great casting coordinators. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to cast some finals. Get into it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We had a little bit of some delays this week, unfortunately, starting a little bit later than we wanted to. But everyone's been very supportive that I wasn't feeling super great. But we're here now. I'm feeling better. I got all this tea next to me. I've got like 2 Gatorade bottles full of tea. I'm ready to rock tonight. I can't wait to get started. Before we get cracking, though, what I want to do is kind of paint a little bit of the picture of the teams that we got here in the finals and how they got here. So we got it's Team IKEA versus Amigos. These were teams coming into the playoffs, seeds 5 and 6. What the hell? How did they get here? This doesn't make any sense. But we got throughout the playoffs. Amigos had to beat SKT4 in a very close series, and then after that they beat Mecha Cheese first, very close series, and then they beat SKT4 also in a very close series. So they earned their spot in the grand finals that way. And Team IKEA starting with Rhydon's Revenge. Apparently killing the critters is better than being nice to them, so they made it through. Also, very close series. And then they beat my team, Brats, the Rogue Academy of troubled StarCrafters, to get into the grand finals from the other side. So the people smurfing their way in, not doing well in the regular season, but doing well when it matters. And it's been tight throughout the entire playoffs.
It has. It's especially for IKEA. We had such a rough regular season and stuff like that. So obviously IKEA being my own team, but coming into the playoffs, I think everyone playing just such a huge amount of energy, and it was really cool to see within amongst all players really, just everyone practicing every day, really getting stuck in and all tiers really.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy to see how well it's happening. I think this is just a CPL curse. You go into the playoffs and it's like, oh, you're in the high seed, you got to buy, or like you kicked ass regular season. It's like never worked out with those teams making it to the finals. It's unbelievable, actually.
No, it was the same sort of thing last season. Team Socialized Healthcare. Again, the team I was on, we didn't do so hot during the regular season. Then smurfed it up in the playoffs. It was. I don't know. There's something about CPL. It's very strange.
Or is it something about the European teams?
Well, to say, I think when the Call of Duty comes, we all we answer the call in that sort of sense. But I think as I said, I mean, we haven't got someone from Amigos casting here today, but they themselves did fantastically as well. Like you say, too hard for the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. They did exceptionally well too, especially overcome SKT4, who were stomping throughout regular season.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, really, I'm just glad that all the playoffs matches so far, the match has been not like we haven't been tracking the scores real particular, but it's like it's like 11-10, 11-10, 12-9, like a ton of incredibly close series. Hopefully the finals shows up the same way. So we're gonna get started. We're doing it over 4 days consecutively, probably starting around the same time every night, 7 p.m. EDT, same time as now. Just be here the next couple of days. We're starting with tier 3, working our way forward. The chat's saying that Cam was quiet. I keep trying to turn you up, man. Is there any way to talk a little liar?
Give me a second, hang on. Is that any better?
Well, I got you like 200%. I guess the people can let me know. I can turn myself down too. Always an option. Which, man, that's a problem I've never had to deal with before.
I'm not overly sure. I know Discord is bit funky with my mic. I guess I can talk louder. Is better? Hello?
Well, the chat's gonna be there. I'm gonna turn down my own input. We can turn down the game sound a little bit. We'll make it work.
Good.
As we go through, guys, that you're in the chat, let me know about this audio balance. I can always adjust things a little bit here.
So. Yeah, I've got a backup microphone just in case. So we'll see how that goes as well after this first game.
Yeah. Alright, I got some things tweaked. Hopefully chat can let me know how we're doing here. But yeah, like I was saying, tier 3 play starting tonight. We're going to kind of going through, and we're going to keep track of the score as we go through, because the results for this have not been spoiled yet to the public. No one knows what's going on other than Snipe and me, and I guess the people on the teams that were in the finals. I guess they know. Whatever. But you know what? That's not why we're here. We're here to watch some great StarCraft. Are you ready to get started, my friend?
Yeah, let's kick things off.
Hell yeah. So we're starting off with our first series tonight. It's Team IKEA Senderns versus Amigos Younglin. All right. In the top right, in this pale blue, it's Younglin representing some Terran for you guys to start off the night. And the bottom left, in the white Zerg, it's Senderns.
Yeah, again, this has been such a curse of CPL, but I'm always struggle with people's names. I don't know how to pronounce them, so I've been pronouncing it in my head as like Kenderns throughout the entire like season. But I think your pronunciation makes a lot more sense.
I mean, you never really know, and I just always fall back. It's like if I'm saying something wrong and stupid, I'm American. I can do whatever I want. Like you guys are, I can just write that off that we have no education system.
Well, I suppose if we're British as well, we have funky sort of, I don't know, things that we say as well, so I can sort of blame it on that as well, I guess. I don't know, it doesn't really work the same. Yeah, I'm really excited to see Sendens play. He's been such a, he started off tier 3 this season, and he was, I think he was struggling a bit, wasn't doing too well, but throughout the season he just, every day, or a couple of days or something like that, just constantly practicing, trying to find out, you know, stuff from our coaches and stuff like that, and yeah, he's really rocketed up throughout the season, so I'm excited to see him play here.
Well, since we got a little bit of time before the game really gets going on, you want to give a shout out to the coaches of your team this season? I mean, apparently they kicked some ass. The regular season, it was really just a slow start. That's all it was.
Yeah, we had Squall, obviously. We had Master Ray, who's yeah, absolutely fantastic. Martino as well from IOK, the clan that I'm on as well, and my favourite as well. But all of them, yeah, spent so much every day just answering daft questions from myself, pretty much. You know, just how much you know, does a probe attack and stuff like that, and just other weird stuff. Like no matter what it was, they knew the answer most of the time. Often got a lot of replays for us as well to give examples of what to do in certain situations. So yeah, it's been really great, really great.
Yeah, I mean, I've been the same thing with my team throughout the season. I assume every team the same way. You know, occasionally you see some comments in the general chat about teams, but it seems like this season everyone's been doing really well. Coaches being really active, making sure everyone's getting the most they can out of CPL, especially with the shorter season. I'm actually seeing a lot of improvement that you haven't seen in the past over a longer season. So apparently things really doing well this time.
I'm a big fan of the short season personally, I'd say, because it gives you such a more focused thing. Whereas before, I think, was it 10 weeks it went for previously? It was yeah, it really felt like it went on forever sometimes in that sense, really. But yeah, it's been so good this time. Just right like that, I'd say.
Yeah, it feels that way. I mean, the short season, especially in case you guys missed it, Stromcorn did do a video about like what to do after CPL, and it kind of sneaked in that we're going to be starting the signups for the next CPL probably near the end of May. So shorter season, but a shorter break between them. So you know it feels good. You know, no one's getting burned out on the coaching staff. We haven't said a word about this game, but we can give it that quick rundown. Youngland did start getting a barracks, then going straight for an expansion down the low ground, adding on a second barracks behind it. Still hasn't taken their gas yet, so I'm expecting a gas to go down soon. Maybe some 2 racks academy kind of play. And then Senderns over here, hatchery first, there's a gas, there's a pool, layers on the way, probably 2 hatch muted, which you've seen so much. The scouting has to be still getting that information, hopefully dies soon though, because you want to kill it before that window where it's like, well, what if it's lurkers though? And there goes that scout. Now Terran has to, you can make your guess, but man, I hope they don't guess wrong. Look what's at that natural. Here's that hydrogen.
Yeah, I've spoken to Sanders about this a lot. He really loves this this lurker play, and this is something I think if you're in tier 3, a lot of Zergs kind of struggle with muter and stuff like that. There's a lot of micro involved, and having to do that and macro at the same time, it's a lot to take on, especially if you're new to StarCraft. So I think lurkers are a solid thing. You don't have to go all in with them. You could just like sit back and sort of macro your way up. It's a good balance, I'd say.
Yeah, I actually was very surprised we haven't seen more lurker play. Not that mutas aren't awesome. Everyone loves playing with mutas and getting everything done. But especially if your micro's a little lacking or maybe the connections are a little spottier, lurkers are just a lot more stable. See a couple links trying to poke forward. There's no bunker, maybe. Younglist still has plenty of units here, so nothing's going to sneak through and get that information. But if they poke forward enough, they should be able to confirm that expansion. I think they got forward enough. But the Overlord's going to come and definitely see it for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And Yeah, I think that this is quite nice from Youngblin as well. Like a lot of Terran players kind of panic when they stop playing. They just put down the bunker immediately, even though they've not seen anything. But Youngblin's not seeing like massive lings outside of his base, so he's been comfortable just skipping that bunker, save a few minerals, really.
Yeah, and even you see, still there's a couple things that is like it's not ideal, but you're gonna have to get it. You're only getting that in an engineering bay. You don't know. You gotta respect that it could be mutas. Another hatchery happening over at that 9 o'clock base, but I'm expecting these comp sets to go down soon. He's got to scan for the information, and with that hydrogen to be at the natural, like you might be using 2 scans just to confirm the tech, and then you're gonna realize, man, I really wanted those scans when you find out it's lurker play.
Yeah, I feel like I would like to see how many tier 3 players actually, well, tier 3 Zergs play lurker play. Like you said, I don't think we're seeing it that much this season, but especially last season, there was so much of it. And I feel like by the end of the season, everyone was kind of like, whereas now a lot of people expect mutas. Yeah, last season it was everyone expected lurkers. Really, it's quite strange.
Yeah, this is gonna actually be big though. Scans are going down, but look at this. It's just gonna waltz on in, and it's just basically right at the right time. He sees the lurker eggs. As long as they're paying attention, and clicking on these. Now, this is a complaint that I heard from the blind that it's like you guys apparently they already look the same to you. You guys had no idea. But here comes that SCV in the main, sees the spire's not done, in a rush to Queen's Nest. I mean, everything about this screams fast lurkers. If you're like rushing towards Hive Tech, gonna get those Dark Storms out. The other one's gonna try to move forward here, but there's not scans available. They really can't afford to push forward.
This is very, very dangerous. A lot of Terrans just blindly do this. Sometimes they'll just walk out to the map, and especially seeing that lurker den, well, that Hydralisk den, should I say, and there's lurkers about somewhere, so yeah, this is good. Just maybe send a few Marines forward, see what's going on, but it looks like these...
Oh, it's hold lurkers, I think. Oh, man.
Fired. I don't know if he's paying attention. Go forward?
I'm not moving my camera 1 inch. This could be amazing. All we need is that small move forward. Come on.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That is brutal. So much damage done by the whole lurkers. That's not a move you see in tier 3 very often. And look, all those medics were even far behind, so at least didn't lose the entire force, but that is definitely a lot going down. A Marine managed to get in the natural, sees a couple Hydras, but Zerg way ahead now. It's a great move.
Absolutely. I was about to say, like, one thing you sacrifice with lurker play rather than mutas is that you don't get a lot of harassment. It's harder to pick up Marines and stuff like that, but playing off whole position lurkers is just... Yeah, it makes my Zerg heart sing every time I see it. But for Terrans, it must be quite painful, honestly, just seeing so many Marines just die in an instant.
I mean, honestly, tonight you can be feeling real good about that tonight. The Stim 4 are going to kill off a couple of these scouting links. Don't want to see the move out ahead of time. And Senders, while he did a lot of good damage, didn't particularly drone up super hard at saturation at third base. Not all the way up yet, but still, good drone count. The Hive is complete. Haven't seen the Defiler Den or any of the tech chosen just yet, but still, this buys so much time for Zerg to get online. No pressure at all, as Young has to build so much army up before they can move out.
Absolutely. I think one danger you get into these sort of plays is that you spend so much time, like we were, then just focused on those lurkers, being like, oh my god, what's going to happen? And whilst behind that, you're not droning, you're not getting everything up. But yeah, I think Senden's finally, firmly in the seat here and getting a few Evo chambers now, but we're still looking for that Hive tech, maybe an Ultralisk Cavern or just Defilers or something. I feel like getting up to that last stage of tech really might solidify a victory here, but we'll see.
Well, this is what I've been looking forward. So now Youngland finally starting their starport. Should be able to get science vessels reasonably soon. But again, being pretty bold, going to move out on the map. We're seeing scans going down, and it's a weird spot. He scanned his own third. Like I'm not sure if maybe there's an opportunity for something, but using the scans to try to move forward safely. But it's like that's gonna be so counterproductive to use that much of it. I would love to just while you build up to your tech, maybe just secure this third. Don't feel like you need to move out too much.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely. Yeah. I feel like after being caught by that first lurker shot, or the whole position lurkers, some Terrans are quite afraid, so they'll throw out scans anywhere and everywhere just in case there's more hiding somewhere at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it seems reasonable enough. Third command center going down for Youngland. And that starport is completed now, adding on a second starport, looking like they're going to be going towards that big ability to make a lot of science vessels catch up, get these irradiates, get that vision, and working towards siege mode as well. So, liking the choice we're seeing from Youngland to recover, the damage is done early, but definitely on a good path. Didn't let it get dissuaded from where you want to be late game as Terran.
Absolutely, and you know, the SCV count is absolutely solid as well at 44. I'm not sure how. I know you're supposed to get up to what, 55 or something like that as Terran at some point. I'm not sure, but it seems pretty solid for the time being. But both players keeping the macro up. Obviously, a bit more gas for Youngling, but absolutely stellar performance, I'd say, for tier 3 at this point.
Yeah. Defiler Bound just finishing up, looking like we're going towards Ultra Caverns, and the Carapace upgrades have been really moved forward quickly. The level 1's already completed, level 2 already working on the way, and it's actually going to be ahead of the Terran upgrade, so this could be pretty good here. A couple lengths are forward, they're going to get picked off by this advancing army, but that gives you the knowledge, hey, what's going on here? A lot of scans going down, not getting caught by that again.
There's not much here for Kendall's here, actually. He's got a few lurkers on his third, but there's just these random lurkers out in the middle, and if the Marines split properly, won't get caught by this again, then there's not actually much at the natural, so Youngwood could just go for the jugular at this point, really.
Love that little move we see, 2 Scourge down on the bottom side of the map. Just in case there's drops or something, I see a lot of dropship play these days, especially on maps like this, if your opponent's trying to be out of position. A couple lanes trying to swing around. The Adrenaline upgrade did get finished up, Consume and Ultra's armor nearing completion. This lane's going to try to move forward, but there's way too much Terran force here. Center's going to have to yield that high ground, back off here. And gotta be careful, don't want to engage a little bit too early here.
No, this is the trickiest time, is just getting that final transition up. As soon as you the first ultras sort of pop, and maybe the first defilers as well, you really secure your position. But this is precarious for Kendall's here.
Yeah, I do like we're seeing a lot of move out. A couple lanes trying to go on the top side, but there's plenty of bio there as well. So no backstab at that third base. And then here comes those first science vessels giving that mobile detection. These lurkers aren't quite together enough. Can't really contest anything. Both sides are going to lose a little bit of units here. But, I mean, you just see Youngland. The position looks good, but here goes the engage. Everything moving forward quickly. The Scourge connect on one of the vessels, but not both. A lot of the lanes go down, but there's some decent lurker shots. Youngland, I think, overall got the better end of it, because now they got these siege tanks in the mobile detection, and there's no Scourge left to deal with this vessel.
Absolutely, and there's nothing that Kendall's can do here. It's just going to have to, as we see here, give up the ground and sort of move back. But this is the thing to do, is just force the siege tanks to unsiege, move forward a bit, siege again, and just slow the Terran gradually until you can get your army up behind it. And I do like that there's more lanes coming up towards the top as well, just trying to get little armies in position, but Youngland also ready for that as well.
Yeah, Youngland been very responsible about this top side, not letting a little backstab go through or disrupt any other base, while still maintaining a very strong force in the middle. A couple Scourge trying to fly around. They're not going to be able to get any easy angle on these science vessels. And I think we're just waiting for these upgrades to kind of finish up. Ultraless armor's done, movement speed on the way, and Center's starting to build up some money. I wonder if now they got the Defiler finished off, they got a decent ground armor, if they want to add on the Ultras to take the fight straight up, I think that wouldn't be a terrible decision.
Yeah, this is it just feels like it's got the Defilers out. It's obviously just consumed there, so if you can just throw down a few Dark Swans, blanket this army, and then just a few Ultras would really solidify this. But yeah, it feels like Kendall's, as well as being a free base to free base of Terran as well. Generally, he wants to try and be a base ahead, so it feels like Kendall's should try and expand. Although he's got a lot of money now, it will deplete as things go on forward.
Here's that first Dark, so I'm going to move forward. Lots of units underneath there. Second one to keep advancing forward. The tanks are going to have trouble retreating, and the bio manages to move away without too much issue. There's still a couple vessels here. That was an opportunity if you were going to get some Scourge hits, because the vessels did get separated from the army. You see, going to try it now. I don't think it's going to work out so well. A couple Scourge getting donated, but it does kill the tanks. It's going to slow down that push, and here comes some more lanes up to the third. That bio force is up at the fourth base, out of position. This is an opportunity for Center to get a lot of damage done with these cracklings.
Yeah, Cedrino Lings, you'll see absolutely tear everything apart, and just looking at these SCVs. But you can see the small Marine force as well is actually going to get caught out by these Ultralists as well coming around, and I'm pretty sure this third base is going to die. So suddenly, Kendall's has managed to swing momentum back in his favor.
Yeah, it's just a lot of their units in positions. Younglin's going to take this opportunity, try to move forward here. There's no Dark Storms or anything, so this Bioforce isn't being delayed. Not a lot of Lurkers left over. Not sure if they got killed or if they retreated further back. But still, that third base from Terran goes down. It gets lifted. It is burning down 20-something health. That is definitely going to get killed. I'll make sure that's still highlighted so we can confirm for sure. Youngling did advance forward a little bit, but did not get nearly the same damage in a trade. And we can see, even still, this ground force still moving forward here. It's not going to be able to get too much more done. That CC does end up dying as it tries to retreat. Can't get repaired in time.
So we're in a funny position because Youngling has obviously got the sort of siege position here outside of Kender's like main, so that Kender's can't really move out too much. His third base he can still slip units out and stuff, but yeah, there's this weird Mexican standoff as these science vessels try and come in, and it's snapping off a lot of workers actually.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Overlords getting killed actually, but still, the supply for the Zerg is actually ahead here. You can see the fight trying to happen. Crack lane's still quite good. The armor upgrade's pretty decent here. I think 2 of them are done with the +3 just about to complete. Needs to just stay alive, buy time for that, but this Bioforce moving forward, going to be able to start working on this drone count. Here comes the Dark Swarm to help protect things, but it's not really covering any of the units, unfortunately. Half the drones still exposed, but not being targeted down. The hatchery does end up falling, and we're seeing both players bank up a lot of money as they're trying to deal with this fight here.
Absolutely, and there's a bunch of defilers are just sitting at the third base of Kender's as well, so he's just trying to get those units over and push them out as well, but really help blanket this force. But it looks like Kender's will clean us up with the Ultra Force, so we'll stabilize, and there's still no third base for Youngling taken again, so it's a very strange game, this very strange game.
Yeah. Now, a move that we saw a lot earlier on, Youngling did end up moving a Marine over to the Zerg expected 4th and 5th base if they were going to go vertically up the left side. So Youngling does know that there's no bases attempted to be taken over there. Sender's just very comfortable on his 3 base. And you can see with the amount of money they have, this could have been great, but they just don't have the gas to really slam down a whole bunch of Ultras and make this a problem. Both sides... Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say both sides, like, just trading a lot of units back and forth, banking up the money, but can't secure that next base and kind of get this army looking stronger for that late game.
Absolutely. And, yeah, Kender's actually just on 2 bases now, so I'm not sure whether he should really take this natural at this point. I mean, there's a few minerals left, I guess, and the gas is useful, obviously, but definitely just needs to spend that bank and just take the map as much as it can. Yeah, just really take advantage of his position.
Yeah, I think just the problem is that he needs to get more gas. Like, gas is the limiting factor right now for Sender. It's a big vessel fleet moving forward, and when you're low on gas, you're not going to lot of Scourge. It's going to be a good opportunity to radiate a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe you can go for an eraser here. You see very far forward. The drone now is moving out to expand, gets irradiated, not going to be able to get the hatchery down. That's like the most annoying way to deal with something like that, but definitely effective. Ooh, look at all these Scourge. Oh man, how many vessels are going to get taken down here? 3 get killed. That's pretty good. Some array is still going down.
Absolutely. Oh, big plague there as well, and a few vessels as well, but not everything. But yeah, just a few small Scourge out to clean up that vessel camp, because if you don't keep on top of those vessels as Zerg, it quickly spirals, as we see here. With just radiated Ultras going to fade away so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the upgrades are still great, though. It's still 5 armor, the fully upgraded Ultralisk, and that +3 weapons is far along, but still about halfway to completion, so eventually these bots will be able to keep up with this a lot better, but both sides still, like, just cannot get these extra bases established. CC is made in the main of the Terran player, but has to fly it over and clear out the couple lanes guarding it. But you can see, still moving forward. Youngling's going to try to fight a couple of these Ultras, and without that +3 weapons, that fight does not go well. That's a good move for Sender, and they're going to be able to clean that up. But Terran's going to keep moving forward, trying to put pressure on the natural instead.
It's going to be quite tricky because the longer the game goes on, obviously Terran usually mines out quite faster as well. So if Kender's can start to really take these trades and just clean up these Marines constantly and lead out the bank here, he should be able to keep the game in his hands. But it's going to be tricky. Definitely needs those extra bases still.
Well, right now he needs some extra Overlords. And you see it nice gets taken out, just as 2 Defilers, but no units pop out, so great pickoffs here. The gas, you really can't afford to be wasting anything here. But it's been supply blocked for a while now. Zerg cannot make any more units to reinforce, just trying to retreat with the things they have on the map, but it's not a very strong army. This Terran's going to keep moving forward, looking like they're focusing the Hydra Den, going to shut down some of this lurker production. Finally, the units do come back here to clean this up, but Terran definitely got a bigger side of that trade, looking like they're pretty far ahead, even though they still haven't started at third base, or haven't landed, I should say.
Absolutely, and it's really difficult because I guess England has got the bigger bank here, and that they've still got the vessel count as well, and I guess it's just the gas and the base is limiting factor for Kendens, but it just feels like I don't know, there's this weird paralysis between the two. Just see here more Marines being rallied across the map, and Kendens just struggling to try and keep on top of everything.
Well, I mean, we've both played those games. You feel the pressure. It's like we see everything. We should see like, oh, here's a great opportunity. You should be trying to expand, but you just feel like your opponent keeps trying to attack. Like, no, I need to make units. I need to be on the map. It's the base isn't important. Here's my window to attack. Younglin's going to keep moving forward. A group of Lings is going to catch out a small amount of units, but most of those are vessels out in the middle. But this bio is going to keep moving forward. If they can kill that Ultra, then that's actually a really big move. Ultra's Cavern gets taken out. Defiler Mound going to be cleaned up as well. So a lot of this tech starting to fall for Zerg. Doesn't actually get to Defiler Mound. Needs to focus that. It's so important to actually kill it, but doesn't actually get it. Gets focused on the Ultras instead. That could have been critical. If you kill that Defiler Mound, I think that could be critical. A bigger racer over at that 9 o'clock base as well. Tons of drones going down. Younglin's position keeps looking better and better here, especially as the tech is neutered for Zerg.
Absolutely. And yeah, this is trying to think of positions for Kenders here, how to really get back. I mean, he's still got units, but they're kind of just a bit spread out all over the place. So just solidify everything together, and I think, and just yeah, try and hold your naturals. And I wouldn't mind a few spores. I mean, 1,200 minerals, should I say, just to try and prevent these vessels from murdering everything. Just something.
Yeah, still going through with the eraser. Sender's going to send some Lings and Ultras, try to go up to that 12 o'clock. If they can stop that base from happening. Now he knows that's being landed, but here comes the Zerg army flooding in. They don't have Dark Swarm with them, but there's just not a lot of Terran force here. So I think they should be cleaning up what they have. He's going to stop the mining, maybe then kill the CC2. But here's the reinforcements. They're going to fight over this third.
Yeah, and these vessels, again, just not being taken out here. Just going to irradiate these Ultras, and even with all that armor, the Ultras can't live forever for radiate on them.
No, they can't, but man, they're strong killing Marines. They're going to irradiate, give them a little bit of a damage boost. You can see it down that ramp flying through here. And there's enough Lings left over. They're going to be able to kill this CC again. So the third base for Terran is still not going to happen here. But both sides losing a lot of armies during that. Sender's made a lot of drones behind all this. So the economy looking a lot better once everything starts mining again. But I gotta see that move. We gotta make another base at some point. We can't keep playing this like low eco stuff. Because Sender's just getting so much value out of these vessels and their energy to kill things.
Well, this is it, yeah. I mean, the third base is quite healthy. If Kenders can really secure this, it'll be gone, because Terran's actually mined out at this point. Like, the last mineral patch is going down, so we'll have to maybe float over CC or the natural over to the third. But if yeah, Kenders could just secure this third, and unfortunately these vessels, Burrow actually, which is a good counter here, but even still, just a few spore crawlers I feel like would really help get this third base in line.
I mean, come on, you're a player, man. You think people just want to build turrets or build spores? These are drones. These are drones that could be doing other things. There's no way. Absolutely not. But
yeah, for Zergs, it kind of goes both ways sometimes. Like, you get some Zerg players who just throw down a million like sunks and spores and everything, and then you get the other side where it's like, I don't want to build a stacked defense at all in that sense. So.
I just don't know what you do at this point. You'd still see Younglins just going for army. I see a lot in production, but not another CSC. They're going to have to fly over the ones they already have, which means it's going to be comp sets unavailable. These vessels doing absolutely everything they can just to be annoying and like kill whatever drones they can. But these little tiny unit trades, you can see that supply for Terran is still growing rapidly, but there's been no income. So everything looks great, but needs to end the game soon if they're not going to take another base.
I think, yeah, Youngland definitely has the army advantage here, just unsieging these tanks and stuff like that, and just making one final sort of push. There doesn't seem to be much for Kendens here. Still a few defilers at the third and such, but it's not enough to take on this army of Youngland, unfortunately.
Yeah, finally, a little bit of a move forward. It's not with everything, though. You see more bio trickling out, but not taking the tanks with it. So Younglin, they're definitely below 400 now. They're going to have to relocate an existing CC, but still, that means it's a very strong army moving out on the map here. Senators does have Defilers, and they just do magic. You never know sometimes with Defilers. Like one good Plague, one good Dark Swarm, and you'll win a fight you have no business ever actually winning. But 3 Defilers at the natural just get immediately targeted down. They're not getting burrowed. They're not Dark Swarming themselves. They get killed. This is real bad. Another fight up at the top, though. Dark Storm's going down, picking off some of those reinforcements. But the natural, all those go down. There's no units here to stop them. Not a lot of units left in the middle of the map, and Younglin's got a big army moving forward. It's going to be hard to defend this Ascenders.
Really. These Lings are picking up a few Marines, but there's just too much left over. More Ling reinforcements coming down now, which will help out and might be able to clean this up, but there's still a lot of medics with lots of energy here, and it's very, very tricky.
Yeah, you can see here comes all the vessels as a raid. It's going to help out so much. No chance lurkers or anything. Remember, all that tech that got taken out has not really been rebuilt. Yellen's even going to move towards that third. There's no stack defense here at all. There's a couple Defilers, but no units. So this bio could easily take out the third too. Yellen finally finding all the openings they need to. And since no one's been able to expand for such a long time here, I think this game for Terran, it looks so good. You're just not getting enough kills as Zerg and losing all these valuable units you can't afford to replace.
No, these science vessels have got so much value all throughout. There's an 18 kill vessel actually in the middle of these. Each vessel seems to have like at least 5 or 6 kills on them. So
yeah, this is gross. That's actually gross. I didn't want to click those and see that number. That's ridiculous.
I suppose it's revenge. Like you got the what was it, borrowed lurkers at the beginning and such, but Terran instead got their revenge and these science vessels. It looks like there's no minerals left for Kenders at this point. And this might be it, unfortunately.
Hey, there's still a decent amount of drones, but I don't know where they are. It seems to be a little piecemeal over the map here. And you can just see trying to rally a small amount of lanes, wants to do something. D-Matrix on a Marine, so smart right now. Because like, if you have these D-Matrixes and that medic behind, there's no way you ever kill these guys. But man, vessels are dumb. Can we talk about this? Like, this is so ridiculous. Like, how did they get energy so quickly? And it's going to be enough. Sender's going to tap out of game 1. Younglin abusing the power of vessels into a fantastic victory.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is what you got to do in the game. You realize, I mean, obviously, Younglin threw a few things at Kendon's there, and yeah, the vessels were just the linchpin of so much, really. And he recognized that he wasn't getting punished for it, so why not keep him making vessels? Why not keep on taking, irradiates and killing a million drones? It's a good way to do it.
It's just so ridiculous, man. Like, because I feel like that game could have gone way differently for both players if they just set up another base. Like, at any point, if they could actually secure the other base, go into it, I think that game looks so much different. But just unfortunately, the pressure was on. Neither player could set something up. But that leads us into an exciting game, too. On the top right, in that magenta, it's Sender, it's currently down 1 game in the series. And in the bottom right, in that lighter pink, it's Younglin playing Terran, bullying people with vessels.
I feel like these two are quite evenly matched, though. I mean, off that game, neither side seemed to stomp one or the other in that sort of sense. There was no, there was a very back and forth game. So I feel like these two have been well matched up. So.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. And we're seeing Polypoid for game number 2. Unfortunately, the Overlord Scout not going to get the first information, forever unlucky. Not going to happen. So curious to see on a 4-player map if the players have different build choices. I think like on Eclipse, because there's these high ground areas, it's so where your opponent is, you can like manipulate everything. So I think Lurkers made a lot of sense on Eclipse. I'm curious if it's still going to be Lurkers on a map like this, or is it going to be Mutas just because the extra mobility?
Absolutely. Yeah, 4-player maps are like you say, different in terms of the builds that each player might choose in that regard. I know, especially for Eclipse, just scouting, being able to send a drone over to the Terran's main and seeing, instantly if there's mech coming your way, and even for the Terran just being able to, as we saw, just send over that SCV and get that vital scout and the lurker tech as well. It was, different scout mechanics obviously in play for a 4-player map, and we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing a different build, though. Look at Sender's 9 pool. Not even an over pool or any kind of nonsense. He wants those things on the map in a hurry. Now, this is like, it's really unfortunate that Overlord's not going to get the first scout, but still close positions. And you can see there's a barracks made pretty close to the ramp, but I don't think you're going to make a really solid wall out of that. And look, early gas as well, so both players playing differently, looking like Younglin's going to be going for some of that mech style that's so obnoxious to deal with, and Sender's going for a 9 pool. Want to put the pressure on nice and early. Even drone scouting just to make sure you can find an opponent, which you will get with this drone.
So Sender's actually, it's like an economic 9 pull. I know some players might scoff and say an economic 9 pull, what is this? But the idea is to get a quick 6 things out and drone behind it. You see the expansion going down as well. So this isn't going to be pure, quick gas, quick speed, and just, spam links in this regard. It looks like Sender's might try and drone up a bit off the back of this, but getting the scout off and seeing that there's not too much here, we'll have to see how much damage these things can do.
Yeah, I mean, they're already across the map, and you even said it. You were calling it economic. It is true. There's drones being built behind it, and a rush to a hatchery still on 9. So getting those before anything does kill that SCV build in the depot. That could be critically important here for Younglin as it's nearing supply cap. And look, the lanes are already here on the ramp. The SCVs didn't get pulled to block things off. He wants to stop the supply depot. I think he should just go on the main. It's still going to be able to get some kills. That one Marine not being protected well enough. There was an opportunity, but lets him escape. Going for SCV kills, but this is doing so much disruption, so Sender should be getting a great advantage here.
This is absolutely stellar. This exactly what you want to do with this sort of build, really. And you don't have to do a ton of damage with it, but just forcing so many SCVs off the mineral line at this point, and just killing a few Marines here and there and stuff like that, you can really get the momentum off the back of this.
I mean, like, you could say you don't have to do a lot of damage, but Sender wants to do a lot of damage. That Marine count has not been able to grow. That supply will finally gets finished, so still a maximum disruption. The drones do end up getting finished off here. We're not seeing any, like, a lot of units being laid through. Sender's just taking the advantage he's got, continue with the normal gameplay, and not overreacting to the big opportunity here. Although, honestly, I think he could have. I think he could have gone crazy.
Yeah, I feel like it's like if you get one Marine and like 2 SCVs, you're like, it's okay. But yeah, killing every single Marine and a bunch of SCVs here, I feel like the momentum just push on top of it. Really, it looks like Younglin is struggling here to really defend this, but it's going to stabilize. Got the 2 SCVs on the ramp now, which should prevent further SCVs, furtherlings getting into the base, hopefully.
That'd be nice here. Senders actually has a lot of money. I think this could have been a much earlier extra hatchery, maybe take the gas a little earlier, move towards the link speed or towards a lair or something. But still, damage gets done. The link's finally cleaned up. Here comes that first factory on the way. And it's not a lot of extra gas being mined out from here, so I'm curious what it's going to be. It's at least going to be a vulture. We're not seeing a sunken. As I said it, man, CPL curse, of course. I decided, like, let me point out the lack of a thing, and the moment I clicked the camera up there, I saw the drone moving in position. I'm like, ah, shit.
They can hear you. They can hear you, man. I swear, it's insane. It looks like Senders is building a few more links, so he might want to try and capitalize on this. But I'm not sure if the window's already passed, really. Like, it depends if he can get up this ramp. And I don't know. There's one Marine exposed here, but as soon as the vulture comes out, it's gonna be tricky, especially if Younglin's micro's good with his vulture as well. Oh no!
I mean, Link's speed is gonna finish, so I don't know, man. That's gonna be hard to get that first vulture out before anything. Even though Rally's kind of going through, here's a drone for some reason. Always these kind of funny things happen occasionally. But that depot goes down, supply block for Younglin. There is the one vulture here, but I think you got to keep that in defense. Here's more drones. They're here for the party, man. It's all good.
I remember speaking to someone about this. Is like when I accidentally bring a drone down, sometimes I'll just like build a hatchery here and be like, yeah, I'm really far ahead. I meant to bring this drone here and like, show off and stuff like that. But most of the times it's just a miss rally.
Of course. We're finally seeing a Spire go down, that lair tech finally being used. There's been an SCV that's just been hanging in Sender's base this whole freaking time. Like, you got speed lanes, you could go clear this out, it's not going to worry about it. The Vulture tries to sneak out, but the Link's going to counterattack. The SCV at the ramp gets broken off, and look, more Marines going down. There's like no force here for Younglin. Sender doing so much work with these early Links off this 9 pool. Love the build decision here, very confident about what to get everything done. This is buying infinite time as that Spire's about halfway done now.
Absolutely, and 12 SCVs here to 22 drones is just such a roaring lead here for Gender. He's absolutely playing it stellar, and yeah, I feel like there's no eBay in sight for Younglid, so yeah, just get those meters across the map as soon as you can, and I feel like not gonna be much here for Younglid to defend with.
Yeah, second gas going down, the Spire nearing completion. It's like, with all the disruption, can you even afford to build an engineering bay? You're seeing a second factory go down. I guess you're going to go for armory, try to build up a Goliath count, but there's no way you have them up in time. Senators even still has a good amount of gas and minerals, so like you slam down a bunch of these meters, they're going to show up out of nowhere. Like the Marine count keeps getting decimated. Maybe this one Vulture can get it to do something, but still, that Sun gets even finished off. Like, I don't know what you do as Youngland here other than prepare for Game 3.
Yeah, it's very very difficult, and like I think one thing I'm guilty of in my games is that I'll often leave too early, like a drone dies and I'm like, oh, that's it, it's the game's over, but and not enough players play out their games to the completion, so I feel like I respect Youngwood here, like sticking around and trying to see what he can make work, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth trying. You never know what you're going to be able to get done here. But here comes those first mutas. They're going to find that Vulture up at the front. So the knowledge is there of what units coming here. 6 mutas made, more being made behind it, with +1 air weapons as well. And that armory, it just finished. So we're finally going to start working on those first Goliaths. Trying to get charm boosters. There's 5 Marines, though. You're going to barely have, like, I don't know how you ever hold this unless Senators really messes up here. But if you just go for the attack, there's just not enough force here. Straight for the SCV line, more economic damage, but you can take these Marines straight up. They don't have any upgrades. There's no academy. Just fight them.
Yeah, I do this a lot of it as a Zerg as well. I'm like, oh, 2 Marines, there's too much, and even though, yeah, guys could just A-move this and really wipe it out, but not feeling as confident, might wait around a bit, just, yeah, flying around, maybe pick up some SCVs, but honestly, he could really push his advantage here.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, I think there's a big opportunity here. Not going to push too far. I mean, you're already so far ahead. I don't actually mind the extra caution. And we could see everything. We know it's like, oh, there's no academy, there's no Marines, barely start Goliath production. This is the opportunity to go in. This is the worst thing that could be happening, though. Moving forward, trying to like do something, but then maybe over microwave, doesn't even get the shots off. So taking a bunch of free damage, but still way ahead for Zerg. They're up a big amount of workers, still up on supply. I just want to see him start working towards the next steps, and here's that third base up at the 12 o'clock. So Senator's position still looking great.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, just build up your Mutant Legion. You know, there's not too much for the Terran here. Just get your third base, drone up there, and just keep pushing. No natural expansion as well. So yeah, it's really really difficult here. But Muta's going to come in again and just get some free snipes. Again, even though it looks scary with this amount of Goliaths, you just can't really just wipe this out.
Yeah, I mean, taking a lot of damage on the way out. The Charm Booster, that range upgrade's so good, like, just to make it easy to kind of chase these down, get some extra shots. But all the Marines are gone now at this point. Turret's finally going to start working, but this is still Terran stuck on one base. You don't have to go crazy. You can kind of do whatever you want to. I think I just watched him kill a critter, so Youngland expressing the anger about the situation here. Not dealing with any of this. A 4th base going down for Senders, and they're just macroing up. Finally working towards the lurkers, adding on a bunch of these Evo chambers and Hydra dens. I'm loving the way they're playing this. They're not losing their mind, they're not going crazy, but they're definitely ahead and really leaning into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone knows that the classic Artosis went ahead, get more ahead, and yeah, Kenner's really just leaning into it on this regard. He knows that there's not much Terran can do in this position, so why not get 4 base? Why not take the map, in this regard? Get up free mutas and, position your mutas into a GG formation and sort of move it off the map like that. You can do whatever you want in this position. The map is yours.
Yeah, I mean, there is always still that looming threat that if you're way too passive and you let Terran build up, especially with a mech-based army, that the upgrades really kick in and make things difficult. Youngland is moving out with some Goliaths here. This is very bold. I don't know if I like this decision because these get caught out. It could be speedlings, it could be these mutaflock. You can see, here comes the mutas from the side. One overlord getting attacked, so he knows where they're at. It does supply block Senders, but this is very aggressive from Youngland. I don't know. I don't know about this one.
2 full control groups of mutas just waiting in the wings here, and the first one's moving away, but yeah, just move these together and overwhelm, and here we go, it looks like.
Even Hydra's being added on. They don't really have the upgrades, not the movement speed or anything, but still, it's a lot of mutas here, still more than 12 left over. The Goliath's going to try to micro as best as they can, but they're going to get cleaned up at the end of the day. +1 attack is finished for the mutas to help things get killed off a lot more faster. That army is now killed in the middle of the map. The CC does finish for Youngland, but there's no defense here. There's no turrets. There's no units. I think you're just hoping Zerg forgets to attack you, and judged by how they're moving, that's not going to happen here.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I don't think this is going to be a rabbit and tortoise sort of fable here. Yeah, I do expect Sendos just to move in here, hopefully, and just finish this off. Is put him out of misery and go into game 3. Because I feel like the longer this game goes on for Youngland, it's just psychs you out more and more of why isn't he killing me, really.
Well, I guess the weather was being made while the Galats are out. Not a whole lot of much. I see a tank that's finished trying to defend against the ground group, but there's just no anti-air here. And Mew's going to come in from the backside as well. There's a couple turrets at the top, but they don't even cover the south of the mineral line. All these Mews in the base, they are upgraded, they're healthy. There's no anti-air here other than a couple turrets. A little sloppy on the attack. They're taking a lot more damage than they need to. A lot of these Mews are kind of bruised up, but still, it's just enough force. Kind of hard to fumble this one. Just do the A move and kind of clean everything up. That's going to be enough to close out game 2 for Senderts.
Very, very clean game. Very, very clean game. It's, yeah, I think that's more of what we saw there in game 1, that Youngland was obviously comfortable with the macro game, you know, really got up big armies and stuff like that. So, again, then saying, you know, why not throw things on the other shoe in that, you know, putting some early pressure.
Yeah, but man, that 9 pool was such a good move. They got in, they did so much damage, so that was fantastic.
Absolutely, with with that eco 9 pool as I call it, it's you know, like I say, you hope to do a bit of damage, but when you see something like that happen, it's just like all your prayers are being answered as a Zerg. Like Kerrigan is listening to your prayers at that point and is rewarded you well.
Well, I mean, that's as best as you're going to get, but that means we're going to get a game 3 and see what happens. Between 2 games, the players did very different builds. Let's see if that keeps happening here as we're looking to finish up our first series of the night. Oh, and we're on Sylphid in the bottom left in that peach color. It's Youngland. And in the bottom right in teal, it's Sender. It's more TVZ Classic Night, which I didn't even like say that what's happening tonight. I'm pretty sure I don't get to watch any Protoss at all. I think it's a ZVZ and 4 TVZs tonight on Tier 3. You guys, like, I thought Protoss was the easy race. Why is none of your Tier 3 players playing Protoss? What the hell?
It is. It's quite interesting because I know a lot of the players, especially for the EU teams, came from RSL for Tier 3, and there's just like a big influx of Zerg at the moment, and it's very weird because as soon as you get to like Tier 1 and Tier 0, Zergs just disappear. So I'm not sure what happens really.
I'm not sure, man. I think it's just that every race is ridiculous. And it's like people will play whatever they want to for whatever reason they want to, and it's like I just don't get it though. It's like you see the way some people complain. It's like why is all the PvPs in like Tier 1 and Tier 2 then? Like I don't.
Yeah, I think IKEA's Tier 1 is purely, yeah, it's like 90% like Protoss, and then like a few Terrans, and then there's like me and another Zerg, and that's it really. So it's yeah, we're very, very Protoss heavy in our Tier 1 division.
Yeah, we had a lot of that too. First barracks going down, not trying to make any kind of wall off or anything, or be built near the buildings, trying to make any kind of Sim City, which your opponent just did 9 pool on a 4-player map with ramps. You're just like totally writing off like he would never do it on Sylphid. Wow, that is bold, but it is a 12 hatch strategy instead, so lucky for Youngland. He read the opponent correctly on this one.
Absolutely. Like, if I cannot imagine his face if another 9 pool came into his base. It's like, oh my god, really? But these are the mind games you can play in a series, really. It's like, he won't do it again, surely 2 times. Surely not 3 times in a row, and then you better believe that some players will do it.
It sounds like some people need to watch BSL today. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but if you want to talk about, like, oh, they won't keep doing it. Oh, he kept doing it.
There you go. That's and yeah, I love this at Amigos. This is what makes StarCraft Best Series like so good, really. Obviously on ladder you get 1 game. That's it, really. But yeah, there's a lot of tricks you can play.
Yeah, we're getting very stable openers. Looks like a nice Rax expand. Getting that CC up nice and early. So the game's looking a lot more familiar to game 1. It was hatchery first, pool and gas behind it. Now, the one thing I remember seeing on Eclipse, that Youngland was a little greedy, didn't get that bunker. So maybe there's an opportunity to put the pressure on Senderns. You just did so well with some early langs. Like, I feel like your control with them was pretty decent, especially for tier 3 play. I wouldn't be surprised to go for it, but just rushing that lair, more 2-hatch play, it's going to see. Is it going to be Lurkers and Mutas? I really want it to be Mutas here just because the map's so good for Mutas with how much terrain there is that you can just fly over and abuse.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, we saw, I think last game Senders, like, it wasn't, he didn't look too confident with his Mutas, you know, obviously going in and seeing those 5 Marines, they just didn't, you know, take him down in that regard. So I know it doesn't really favour Mutant builds, but like I say, it's so strong and Silvered, and you know, there's so much space to just move in and out and snipe SCVs for days, and I know a lot of Terrans hate it.
Well, don't worry, we're getting more Hydra Den. it's back to the 2-hatch lurker play. It's a much smaller map, a lot less high ground to manipulate. So I think if you can get the pressure on early with these lurkers, maybe there's a good opportunity to get something done. A couple links going to move forward if they're going to scout any kind of move out. If they poked forward, though, they would see the lack of a bunker. You see that Senders is working towards that build that we saw in game 1, 2 racks. We're going to see Academy, gas being mined now. So all that kind of normal stuff you see. But if you're expecting Mutas to come and your opponent's going lurkers again, maybe you get caught off a little bit out of position.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if Youngling tries to move out again at like around the 6-minute mark, and if he'll get caught by those lurkers again, or whether he will get concepts earlier and or you know try and be a bit more cautious with his move outs or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge favor of what we saw here, because like when we saw in game 1, remember, it was like the lack of expanding. I think people weren't super comfortable with the position they were in, didn't know where to go from there.
Yeah.
It's not that Zerg didn't get in a good spot, especially with the whole lurkers. They did a great job getting themselves in a good spot early, but they didn't know when to take the extra bases. And on a map like Sylphid, where it's so much harder to get a bunch of easy free bases, like I'm not feeling super great here. It's like, where do you put the lurkers to defend some of these? You gotta feel comfortable enough to get out on the map. And you see that there is one speed lane chasing this SCV, see if we can catch it before it gets in, and we'll get killed by the Sunken here. It doesn't get too much information, but there was that first scan going down. It sees the Hydra Den, so it should know what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, you make a great point about playing to the maps and stuff like that, and I feel like especially at low levels and such, you know, you have your comfort build, you have the build that you like to throw out of it, and like the more you get into StarCraft, the more you play, you learn about what certain maps are good for. You know, this map is good for muteless, this is good for lurkers and stuff like that, and that plays more into the planning. But yeah, it's very, very tricky. We can see some lurkers being morphed in the middle of the map here, so this is very bold as well. Not too sure about this. Not like the Marines can kill these eggs, obviously, but even still.
I mean, I actually kind of like this, because if you're pushing as Youngling the fastest way you could, you're going through this third base, as you see here. They're not going to see those 2 lurkers. And the scans would never catch the middle of the map. Why the hell would you scan the middle of the map? So there's a great opportunity maybe for a flank for defense. You see them actually retreating now. The Overlord did get a little bit of vision to see that the army's here, but the lurkers are done. They're going to burrow here. And you can see the attacks start happening here. Youngling stims to run away, minimal losses. I like that decision. Don't overcommit. Don't do anything too crazy. And this is buying time. Senators going to take their third base over at the 3rd o'clock. The one with the ramp, which makes sense, makes it easier to defend with lurkers. And I want to see that next follow-up we saw before, that fast Queen's Nest. Let's move towards the Lair Tech, and there it is right there. Queen's Nest, Evolution Chamber. I think we're seeing a very similar style to what we saw before. I just need to see more expansions to support if you're going for an ultra list like this.
Absolutely. It looks like Senders is comfortable with his timings. He knows when to put things down, which is a very admirable skill, especially out in tier 3, really. But like you say, it's just, I feel like a lot of players, they practice up to, say, 7 minutes or 8 minutes. Is when you're still in the early game, whereas, you know, it's got to think about that long term. You've got to keep on reminding yourself, I've got to take more bases, I've got to keep my drone count up and such, really. It's difficult. Long games are taxing.
Yeah, it's a hard skill. That's like one of those things I actually try to, if I'm playing games and I'm practicing, I will like be like, I know I lost this game at 10 minutes, I'm going to keep playing anyway, just to get you more practice. Try to figure ways out.
Absolutely. And no, again, it's not something the players do. A lot of players do have like one bad fight and just GG. And yeah, you got to practice late game at some point, really.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. Just all in every game, man. You could be the shine you want to be. Like, you can do whatever you want, man.
I do say that. Like my whole last CPL season was just rush builds. Really, I was the player that didn't play late game. It was I won the game over by 7 minutes at most. Really.
Hey, whatever gets the job done seems reasonable. Starport does finish up, so should be able to start that vessel production. A couple links do sneak out around this Terran army. I don't know if they got the vision on it. You can see they're going to be able to kind of move around, maybe get something here. SCV is moving towards the middle, so looking like Younglin's going to try to get that third base up. Here comes the Lurkers moving forward. They burrow right in front of the Marines. Not a scan fast enough. Everything gets taken out. Cuts his bio army in half just as reinforcements were about to arrive. And that third base for Terran, the SCV was near position. Didn't start it yet, but a nice little win for Senderns just to kind of keep slowing his game down as he builds up towards Hive-Tech.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, vessels are still a long way off at this point. Well, I say that science facility has been built, but you know, there's plenty of time to really get things up here. I'm not sure. Yeah, we see the Hive is finished for Kenneth at this point. The file mill is going down much quicker as well. So, yeah. Filming in the driver's seat for now, these Lurkers should hopefully hold things off. These Lurkers move into a funny position though, it's something like that.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to run away here. One got called out before he got burrowed, scan kills off the second, so these Lurkers that are moving on the map do end up getting killed off here. A lot of scans going down, but they're not any expansions or bases, they're just making sure there's no whole Lurker shenanigans like we saw in game 1. So while I think Young could just take the guess, he doesn't know about this third base yet for the Zerg player. Hasn't put any pressure on it, keeps leaning in towards the front. And we're seeing
there are no Lurkers at the natural here, so it looks like if Youngling just moves forward, there's not too much here. Actually, one Lurker here now, but unfortunately moving forward, and no, it's going to get sniped before it's going down. And oh my god, he's going to push through.
Yeah, this is so rough. And you see the +1 armor for Zerg's about to finish up. The Filer mount did finish, but you don't see any consumes, nowhere near done. And even a tank coming in to support this, but there's no ground force here. A small flank from behind the Lurkers. Is this going to be enough to catch them out of position? They get burrowed in. There's no scan immediately. Big damage. Here comes that scan. The Terran Bio actually spread out pretty good here. Cleans up the Lurkers, not too much trouble. Great move from Younglin. He positioned himself in a way to keep this attack going. Not reinforcing it, but so much damage has already been done.
Oh my god, yeah. Again, it's dropping down to 29 supply now, supply bots as well, and it's just so unfortunate that I think moving those Lurkers out just into the middle of the map and trying to chase them or run away from those Marines, like nothing at home, and it's the struggle of Lurkers. Sometimes it goes to your head, the power. You see Marines die in droves, and you're like, I can do anything with these, but yeah, unfortunately, not much here.
Everything moving forward here. A couple lanes are going to try to engage the Bioforce, but there's still plenty of medics alive. I think maybe if you kill that tank, that might have been a little more effective here, but still, so much being taken out. They're attacking the Queen's Nest, I think, just taking the damage they can without overcommitting. Here comes that first vessel, so Lurker's not going to get away, not detected. But you can see just back here, like, there's a couple of larvae being morphed, but it's not even like real fighting units. The drone's getting pulled now, but there's no way there's going to be enough to be done. I think critical damage is done, and Younglin look like they've done it. Look like they're going to take this set 2-0, or 2-1, as Centers does tap out. A great win for Younglin to start our series off.
Absolutely, yeah. Younglin smelling blood and water, throwing down the scans at the right time, seeing that there's nothing there, push forward, take the game, why not? And really, really good reactions.
So that is the first game going in the way of Team Amigos. So they're going up 1-0 so far in our scoreline. Now we can start in our next set. I see something in chat about castable content. That's going to be exciting. I'm curious what that means.
Everything's castable. Everything's castable.
Alright, you guys heard it. He said everything's castable. This finals does have 2 TVTs. He says everything's castable.
Oh, okay. I take it back. Okay, there we go.
Nope, we're signing him up. He's ready for TVT. He's excited.
Those hour-and-a-half siege tanks, you know, both Terrans on high grounds not moving, you know, we live for them. We live for them.
Well, that's all right. We're going to get started on game 2. The castable content in the top right in the light green, it's Forte. And in the bottom left in the brown, it's Mediocre. I got to do those overlays. I didn't forget. Don't worry. And it's going to be Forte for Team IKEA, Mediocre for Team Amigos.
See, I've forgot to transition so many times on OBS and stuff like that, doing casts. I have nightmares about it now. I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't didn't transition the scene in that game, in that cast. It haunts me.
Oh
It
no,
haunts me.
I figured out my trick to not forget that anymore, because
Huh?
I play on one monitor, right? So I stretch out I play windowed, it's stretched out, so I can still read the chat, I can do all the stuff.
Ah,
I
okay.
just started making the screen a little smaller so I could see the stream in the background, because that way I look like at my minimap, I look just below it. If I don't see another minimap, I didn't do these transitions.
I see. That's clever. That's clever. It's a good way to do it. Good way to do it. Yeah.
It's either a good way to do it or it's just like, dude, it's 2021. You still only have one monitor. What are you doing?
See, I can't. Up until like August last year, I was also working off one monitor, but working from home and stuff like that, I was like, this is madness. I've got to get a second one. um, it'll change your life. It'll change your life getting second.
Oh no, man! Because I already have so I have a second monitor. Well, in air quotes, we'll put that in air quotes because it's a 4:3 flat screen. It's not even wide.
Oh,
Which
wow.
I was like, anyone's been CPL for a while. I started casting on that too. You guys had to deal with it. I didn't care. So we're having fun.
I suppose moving to the game at hand, we've seen 9 speed coming out for Forte, which is yeah, solid top build. We're putting a lot of early pressure, and yeah, looks like mediocre here. Taking a later pull and gas as well. I'm not sure if this. Yeah, I'm not sure what quite this build is, but
I believe
yeah.
it was an overpull, maybe a little bit later than that. But yeah, it's still economic. If you're planning to be defensive, you'll have your legs of time to defend your ramp. It's a good plan, especially if you want to skip link speed, get that early lair. So we'll see if the game does end up playing that way when something says castable content. I have no idea what to expect. But this first 6 links on the way for Forte, and we're gonna see. We got plenty of gas banked up. Is it gonna be for? It's gonna actually be for lair, not for early Zergling speed. So very fast Mutalisk. Forte's even actually guarding the ramp, not going to poke out at all. So we're going to just play for the tech advantage, not like risk anything happening. On the other side of the map, Mediocre getting a second hatchery, so they might be looking to do a little bit of the link flood moving on a little bit later instead of rushing for tech. So I had an idea what this game was going to be. I was completely wrong.
Yeah, ZVZ is he'll always catch up in some regard. We'll have to see if Mediocre wants to pull off gas after getting this first 100 gas and just go purely for what's it called, link speed and nothing more. But it looks like he is keeping on, so probably going to go into lair as well. But yeah, this is the Spire's going to be heavily delayed compared to Forte's.
Yeah, I do not like when you see ZVZ builds and they just abandon gas like they're never going to get lair or anything. I think that's like so all in. And we've seen it a couple times in CPL. I personally don't like it. If you're going to cut down the gas income, I don't mind that, but at least keep like a little bit in. So if you have to transition later, if you can't close the game with the links. But the second half. Sorry. Well, I was going to say, the second actually does finish up. The lair's done. Spire's on the way. Not in the best position. If Link's actually getting this base, this pool and Spire are very exposed. Easy opportunity to counterattack. Maybe if you're just planning to get a sunken between the two, that like kind of guards that. But having tech exposed like this, that worries me. That's red flags.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's yeah, there's lots of little areas you can put a Spire like above next to your gas or something like that, or behind the minerals or something like that. There's lots of little tricks you can do with that, but yeah, it's very, very bold to put it out there. And we see Link moving out now, and this is just as the Link speed finishes for Mediocre, so there's going to be a lot of pressure, but trying to move up the ramp with this many Links sitting at the top is going to be a nightmare to break.
Yeah, you can see it's like full surround, double stack from Forte. Now, I'm assuming they're in a whole position. It'll make it a little more difficult, but he has the opportunity. There's a little bit of micro here you can do. You can see Jaeger's going to try to move up, 2 link sacrifice. They don't really get a whole lot of damage done. And you can see he's trying to break through just a little bit here and there, but the control's not that great. That surround for Forte is so good. Doing a great job defending this. Still, a lot of links are alive. If that Hope does break through, there's an opportunity to move in. And there, finally one goes through, it disrupts things, but too many links went down. Mediocre is not going to get in, but look at the reinforcements moving across that mini-map.
And this is going to be the story of this game, just trying to get these second round of links. There's not much left for Forte here, and he's going to be able to move through. There is a sunken here that will protect everything, and second colony going down, but playing for time for these mutants now, and try and snipe this Spire before it goes, but I'm not sure if he'll get it in time with these mutants popping out.
Yeah, with the Muse out here, cleaned up the threat, you see more reinforcements. I think you do gotta be careful as Forte how aggressively you move out. Back at home, there's a Spire on the way, so no anti-air yet, not for a while. Here comes those links back in the mix. They want to kill that Spire. It's down to 50 health. The Sun can do as much as it can, down to 2, and it does go down just barely. So no more mutas are going to be on the way. This fourth one hatching just now is the last of the mutas. So Mediocre could get the air advantage they want to, but they're going to keep sending Lings in. 2 Sunkens are done to guard the drones the best they can, but here come the mutas. They're going to try to get some counterattack damage of their own. And how many drones can get killed? Getting pulled off. There's no more income for Mediocre if he's trying to do this. He's buying time, but it ain't going to buy enough. He's got mutas of his own, but it's less and they're nowhere near done.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can see on the other side of the map, these Lings just trying to kill off the Sunks, but trying to kill 2 Sunks with a small Ling count is absolutely diabolical, really. And yeah, it just feels like Forte keep his drone alive and maybe even retake his Spire. Actually get an Evo Chamber and trying to get some spores as well, which I guess is another thing you can do in this position.
Ooh, a bunch of Scourge go out, so we're seeing a little bit of the air battle. It's less mutas, but if the Scourge connect real good, they can definitely swing that fight. You can see the retreat happening for Forte wants to kind of kite things away as best they can. The Scourge are going to chase. They do go back, don't want to overcommit. You see a third creep colony going down because Forte knows he's done so much economic damage to this point. He just needs to not die.
Yeah, and we're now down to 1 drone for Mediocre, so he's got a long road ahead whilst he tries to macro back up. And yeah, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a standoff actually here, but killing off an Overlord, but there's not much left. And, yeah, there we go.
There we go. Spore going to be enough to close it up, so getting that early win for Forte, I thought Mediocre was going to easily take that one away, but the Mediocre counterattack did so much damage here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think getting up that second Sunken as well, with just getting everything up in time. Yeah, holds off Ling defense, so Mute's in that position or your win condition. So yeah, right move across the map, snipe the drones and win.
Alright, well, we're going to get into that game too. In the bottom right of Polypoid, in that light green, it's still Forte, currently up 1 game. And in the bottom left, in that magenta, it's Mediocre. So better color choice, maybe more fortunate luck this time.
Yeah, and again, ZVZ 4-play map, it all comes down to those Overlords scouting. You can see here, Mediocre has got the, like you say, the Overlords going the correct way, so we'll get the correct scout here.
Yeah. So you play Zerg. Do you if you were in Forte's position? Do you go up and hope you get it, or do you go left so that way if your opponent was right, you're also right?
I don't know. I was go up. I was counterclockwise on this map really. Mainly because you see the natural first as your Overlord moves up and stuff like that really. So it's I don't know. There's different schools of thought when it comes to this really. I'm not sure which one's correct either.
Okay, so we're seeing an extractor trip to go up to 10. We saw this a lot during the semifinals as it seemed like a little bit of a paired build that's like a very big Ling all in. But it's way too early to make a judgment like that. I'm just kind of throwing it out there, so if I'm right, I sound smart. If I'm wrong, there's plausible deniability right now.
No, this definitely looks like a Ling build, I'd say. This drone going absolutely crazy here. This is insane. But we'll go down, and yeah, quick two hatches, and I expect a spawning pool and gas to come off this, and this is the infamous 1099 as it is known. And you're saying last game you don't like builds where they pull off gas, and this looks like it might be one of them. Really.
Well, I don't like it when you pull fully off gas, because it's just like I've seen this build do big damage and then slowly peter out. Like they barely hold on, and it's like 1 drone of gas income, so you eventually could build a lair while you still do your build. I've seen people do this build and then they have 400 minerals floating. It's like that could have been gas. That could have been gas. absolutely,
and yeah, it is one problem with this build. I think a lot of people do play this to be all in completely in that sort of sense. They just never consider that there is a potential next step in that regard. Like you say, they never consider that you can get up to meters, but it's all about learning the transitions in that regard. Like if you do enough damage but you can't kill them, you have to learn to back off and really, like you say, just try and play out a longer game in that regard.
Well, so Pool finishing slightly ahead for Mediocre. The hatchery is going to finish a little bit ahead for Forte here. Actually, more than a little, pretty significant advantage here. That first Overlord, so the position is known. Mediocre gets all the scouting information. Forte playing in the dark, and it's very similar builds between two players here. So going to be curious where we see this go. No one pulled from gas just yet. The first expenditure from both players will be on that length speed at about the same time, so no advantage either side.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, only 9 drones so far today, and I doubt there's any more coming. So that if Mediocre can hold this ramp at the top and just keep on spamming out lanes, get his layer up, and he has the drone advantage, so the game will eventually tend towards his position.
Yeah, I mean, we'll end up saying, like, this is what I'm talking about, though, man. You pull the guys out, like, because, like, let's say Forte doesn't get the job done, right? Then he has to get, like, an Evo chamber, a creep colonies, and all this. It's like, oh, God, it feels awful. And you can see Mediocre controlling the ramp, not with the great concave we saw in Game 1, moving the units around instead of having a hold position. So the lanes slowly working their ways up. It's actually kind of a close fight. Mediocre does end up having slightly more lanes because of Defender's advantage, but this count's getting reset between the two players, and Forte is still sending a whole bunch of crap forward. If he could break through, this might be pretty troublesome for Mediocre.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just feels like he needs to group up as many lings as he can get here, get these last remaining ones coming across the map, and just try and push for it. Like, don't do half measures like this, unfortunately, because he still has the link lead at the top, and here Mediocre wipes them all out.
Yeah, this feels like probably one of the worst things you can do. If you want to build a lot of links, go for the attack, that seems good, but yeah, accumulate the forces. Don't just keep sending them out little by little to get freely cleaned up. You can see Mediocre being bold, sending a couple links on the map of their own, so free donation for Forte. But still, Mediocre sees more links on the way. That Spire is started. It's going to be a while before it's finished. I'm actually a little surprised, though, that he has the Overlord in the base. Why doesn't he, like, start working on Sunkets? He knows if there's any chance for this to happen, it's going to be links breaking through. As we're seeing right here, the defense finally gets through. Forte has 3 links in the base, and there's no stacked defense here to help.
Absolutely. Like you say, the correct thing to do here, like, 1099 is instantly killed by like 1 or 2 sunks in that sort of regard. And, you know, Mediocre has the tech advantage here, and he knows it's going to be tricky to hold that ramp with just the sheer amount of links coming across the map. So, yeah, a few sunks wouldn't be remiss here.
Yeah, a couple of links. Still trying to hold the ramp, but it's not quite enough to get through. Forte breaking through with more and more links, so the damage keeps going through, but Mediocre making links of their own, keeps cleaning up these little bit attacks over by over. Forte finally went back on gas, working towards a layer of their own. So they will eventually be able to get a Spire, but it's so far behind the opponent at this point. And you can see, like, this is what I was talking about, man. If you just made that decision earlier, or just kept like one guy on the gas, you eventually could build up to it. Right now, that Spire is finished. You're even like Forte has to get an evolution chamber. They need that defense early on, and they even sending links forward. Mediocre has more links, and Amigos are going to start. And Forte knows he can't do anything. He's going to tap out of game 2.
I think this smartest thing to do in that position, really. You know that there's nothing you can do. Even if you do get up some miracle spore crawlers and somehow hold the ramp, you're just going to be so far behind in that regard, and the map would be mediocre. So, yeah, Forte tap out, move to next game, see if you can push there.
Yeah, it's ZVZ. Like, no one wants to build stack defense, but you definitely don't want to build in CVZ. That's like a solid 10% of your economy every time you make a building. It's like really bad. You definitely don't want to be doing it. But you know what? I'm not going to complain. That means we got another game 3. I'm excited to see it. So we're going to get into that game 3 and see who can win this very castable ZVZ. All right, back on Sylphid in the bottom left in the blue. It's Mediocre. And in the bottom right in that pale green, I guess Forte really likes this color. Keeps picking it. It's Forte. So 1-1 now on Sylphid. 9 pool becomes a lot scarier with a shorter distance. What do you like to do when you play personally?
I mean, I am a fan of quick pool builds, like 9 pool speed sort of builds, really, just putting a lot of pressure. I find, especially at lower levels in that sort of sense, people's link control is not the greatest, and you know, there's no ramps on, especially Sylphid as well. It's much trickier to try and hold the position in that regard. So I think going for quick pool, quick speed, and just get out a lot of links and really push the advantage. Really, I think that's what I like to do. I think the map pool is quite good for this week, really, overall, because, you know, we've got 2 map play map, 4 play map, and a 3 play map. So there's a variety of different strategies you can employ, really. And the C Forte has gone something different each game, so let's see if he wants to change things up again, really.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about this map pool here, especially since the semifinals we got that nonsense. We got the circuit breakers, we got the Shakura's temple, all that's out of the way. So I mean,
Yeah.
we're okay with this. We're seeing an early pool from both players, so reasonably mirrored builds. And both of them went to scout the 12. Like, so they didn't do the let's do, counterclockwise or clockwise. We're not going for the natural closest to me. They both just took a guess on the 12. So they're both going to be wrong and discover each other's overlord and be like, well, this is weird.
Yeah, it's one of those awkward positions where you're like, you both know what's happened really, and it's like, well, I guess there's just a gentleman's agreement as we both sit next to each other with overlords really. But yeah, it looks like both players, like you say, mirrored completely in what they're doing here. So it's purely going to come down to control or even build choice. Will Forte game one favored a quick lair, so we'll have to see if he wants to go for that again, or maybe a quick speed this time.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to how you spend that first 100 gas, if it's going to be speed or lair, because then you got to play to whatever advantage you get. I would love to see a difference between two players. Here comes Forte, going to get that speed first, choosing to go for it. Mediocre's working towards that first 100 gas, but they're going to have a little bit of money too, so if they want to go lair, they easily could. And nope, going to go speed as well, slightly behind Forte, but not by enough to actually really matter. And look at those overlords, 12 o'clock. They found each other. Forte said, fuck this, I'm out, turned around.
Obviously, first thing's coming out here. So Forte is going for 9 ball speed, as is Mediocre. So there's going to be Ling battles here, and it's purely going to come down to control here. It's going to be another awkward meeting as maybe Mediocre and Forte meet in the natural here, and it's all going to come down to who gets what Ling hits.
I'm a little surprised Mediocre actually walking away from the choke that guards the main from the natural. And you see one drone moving up. Was he thinking to expand? I think he actually was. But you see Forte has the lanes putting the pressure on that the drone turned around. And you see Mediocre 400 middle. So yeah, they want to take an expansion at the natural, get the extra gas income. Has more links, takes the fight outside, clears up what Forte has, and has links on the map now. Speed's about to finish as well. And Forte back at home. The lair's halfway done. Creep colony on the way because they know they're going to need the extra defense.
Yeah, and this is the awkward pendulum swing of early game ZVZ really, is that you kill the other person's lings and then they counter-attack and then you've got more lings and counter-attack and it goes back and forth really. And it's, yeah, I think Forte should be able to hold here with this extra sunk.
Yeah, he's got more links that just spawned up now. Mediocre does get that second hatchery over at the natural that will be good for gas income later, but they still haven't started a lair yet. So very delayed tech in comparison. Lair now finished for Forte. A little bit light on gas, can't actually afford to start the Spire right away, but still. A lot of units here. He's even guarding that choke, not going to let Mediocre through. Getting baited into a little bit of a fight as reinforcements come, so has to be careful. Both sides, Lings fighting Lings. It's trading very closely between two players, and they might... So close. What the hell? Forte barely wins. Oh, man.
Well, this is now awkward, really, because neither player probably feels comfortable enough to counter-attack after what just happened there. So we're going to have Mediocre with the extra base and potentially the extra gas as well, but no lair. But you've got Forte with the lair and obviously getting up his Spire in that sense. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird.
Well, you can see like how it's going. Actually, a third hatchery going down for Mediocre has so much money and so off balance. I think it is just going to have to be a commitment to be heavy on lengths, try to break through the opponent. And you can see that neither player really has great info. Mediocre finally gets an Overlord scout in, but Forte didn't send that second Overlord. They could have had that there in time to see what the hell is going on, but really kind of rough. The Spire is about 20% away from being finished, so that muta advantage is about to kick in. Hopefully Mediocre start making an evolution chamber, otherwise they might lose the game. It's very similar to what they did in game one. Survive long enough, then a muta counterattack does the job. Mediocre's gonna move out, try to break through before that can happen.
Mediocre making the right call here, just pure lanes, go across the map. He knows that he's on the time, he knows that there's no expansion, so this is it. He knows, like you say from game one, he's got to break this really. And there's not too many lings here, and so we'll try and fight this choke, but there's not too much, and it looks like Mediocre will get through eventually.
Yeah, that is a lot better of a trade for Forte than I thought was ever going to happen. Bought plenty of time. Creep colony's on the way, about halfway done. They get around that first sunken immediately, though. Some links get killed off. The mutas do spawn. They can easily defend this. That sunk gets so low, does eventually get taken out. The second sunken behind being made. But there are mutas here. You can slowly whittle down these lanes, so you don't have to worry so much about everything. The Mutas can't afford to really move out just yet. That Sunken has to finish. You can see finally getting finished off here. It's in the drone line, so it's a little harder to attack. The Mutas are going to move across, but Mediocre is going to keep trying to attack with Link, see if they get something done. Although there's some chilling in the middle of the map, not involved in the attack.
Finally grouping together, but yeah, this feels bold for Forte really. Obviously killing these drones is nice, but there's so many links here, and there's only one Sunken for Forte. Can pull drones and obviously try and surround it, but it's so little. I'd be so afraid to move out my mutes at this point.
I mean, look at this lack of a drone count for Mediocre. He's got plenty of links, but the drone count is actually down to 0 with no drones being made, so that's it. Forte's done it. No more economy for Mediocre. He can't afford another link. It's got to be up to this. Can Mediocre win with what he's got here? Is Forte going to be able to defend? He's retreating with the Muta, so eventually he's going to be able to get through. He keeps trying to make more Sunkens. All the drones for Forte going down as well. Keep that drone alive, buddy. You have to do it.
Macron is hard. Finally got to get this Sunk up, which is actually going to help out, and he's actually dies as it pops, but that drone hiding away at the top for his life, my god.
I mean, you just see more lanes going through, but there's Mutas, man. They don't have to do anything. They're not going to be able to kill off these buildings in time, and that drone did not die. Forte has one drone left, can eventually mine enough. Mediocre sees the frustration. A fantastically castable game with ready to close it out. Forte taking a win.
There were no lies there. A very castable game for you, I'd say, in that regard. But my god, it was a knife edge on either side, and either player, I'd love to see those players play again, really, because I imagine it'd go either way each time.
Well, I mean, that's a win for IKEA. So our first two, we got the even score, 1-1 so far what we casted. Anyone joining in a little bit late, not know what the hell's going on, we're casting the grand finals of CPL 6. It's going to be over the next 4 days around the same starting point, about 7 o'clock Eastern time, EDT, if you want to search it up. We're doing tier 3 to start, kind of slow, moving our way through. We're going to end on that tier 0 night on Tuesday. That's going to be a great time. And you got all your casting coordinators helping out. So it's me, it's Camodaz, it's the Blime. We're going to try to get some other people in here at various points if we can. But otherwise, you can just hang out with us, watch some fun StarCraft.
Absolutely. So next up, we've got Vader and Vile Tomorrow, which I love the variety of names in CPL. You see absolutely everything there. But yeah, Vile Tomorrow I think is probably my favourite. But then again, I see we've got Beanie Beans as well later on, which is also a hilarious name that I love as well.
Yeah, but I hear you saying Tomato. You're one of those boys? Tomato boys?
Yeah, I think Tomato. Yeah, Tomato is more the British. Yeah. I'm taking the British stance on this. Okay.
All right. In the top right in the magenta, it's Wild Tomato, and in the bottom left in the blue, it's AKA Vader. Or it's AKE. I always say AKA Vader every time I read it. What the hell is AKE? Whatever. It's TVZ. The matchup you guys are here to watch. I'm pretty sure the rest of the night is more TVZ. So get excited. It's StarCraft's quote unquote best matchup, and I'm sure you guys want to watch a lot of it.
I do like TVZ. TVZ is my favorite to watch, really. But yeah, ZVP. Actually, anything that involves Zerg, but that is just me being a biased Zerg player, basically.
TVZ is just it is StarCraft. Like at its core, everything that's cool about StarCraft you see in TVZ. So I get it. It's like if there's gonna be a matchup that represents the game, it's definitely TVZ.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's everything. You've got early rushes, you've got long macro play, you've got mini battles all over the place. It can go anywhere really, and yeah, interesting to see what these players bring out. Yeah, Vader obviously being from IKEA on my side, again another really strong player, been doing really well this season. So I'm not seeing too many of his games this season. I'm actually excited to cast him.
So hold on. Like, I get hyping up your team. And you're like, he's really strong. He's been kicking ass. I haven't actually watched him, but he's really good.
Hey, I'm an admin myself. I just put in the results. I'm like, another 2-0 for Tavani. Yeah, go on. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, it's a great player, but he takes part in a few team practices as well. So yeah, he's strong. He's strong, I'd say, really.
No, I would expect it. He was actually in the preseason. He was in one of my tier 2 groups.
Oh,
so I played against him. He's definitely he definitely can hang pretty well. So I assume him being in tier 3, he's probably near the upper end of it. So I'm not surprised at all.
Absolutely. I think yeah, going to next season, especially It's the most interesting thing of CPL is just seeing how players progress as well through the off season. When they come back to pre-season, sometimes you see massive jumps as well. So I think some of these players definitely in tier 3 can be pushing for tier 2 next season for sure.
I hope so, especially in the off season. Like, did you guys make your own team Discord, or did you guys stay on the normal one with the channels?
Yeah, we're all on the channels actually, but the more that the weeks went on, I was like, we should have made our own Discord. We really should have. It's so much easier, really. But it's hindsight is 2020, as they say.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things. Like, I know every team I've been on, we've always made the separate Discord, so that way between the seasons or anything, it's like, hey, look, it's these people I played with before, more practice partners. You can keep working on the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, we have the same thing. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
catch up on what's actually happening in the game so far. We're seeing a Rax into CC on the low ground. Same thing we've been seeing earlier tonight as well. Very common opening of this. It was hatchery first into pool gas. Here comes that lair. Two base play off early lair tech. Now we'll see if it's going to be more lurkers or the much more common mutas. I think that was a little bit of an outlier to have 2 hatch lurkers for 2 games earlier on.
Yeah, well, I would like to see Baltimore get some 2-hatch muta. It's the quote-unquote standard, I guess. Really, I don't know anything standard in StarCraft if people play it really. But it's I do like seeing mutas personally. There's a lot of neat micro tricks you can do, and just but it is very very taxing,
Yeah, we'll end up seeing here, and here comes that Hydra Den. So no, apparently everyone just losing their mind over let's play with the mutas. It's gonna be so fun. All this muta play that I casted all season long, but wait, is this what was happening? You guys losing regular season, just playing mutas? Like, oh, they're never gonna see this coming.
It got to the end of the season. It was like, right, guys, we've been losing too much with that. Right, I want the cheesiest builds. I want your 2-hatch lurkers. I want everything you can do. But we'll have to see how this works out.
Oh, hold up. What the hell? Wow, Tomato, look at that upgrade on that lair. This guy's going for the gold on this one. We're doing Age-style slow lurker drop on this map. You already see the Overlord moving towards that 9 o'clock base. Fantastic build, extra cheesy. Love seeing this kind of stuff in set play, especially on the first game where you can afford to lose the first game to make your opponent angry for the rest of the night.
Absolutely, the mind game looked great, and see the SSV desperately trying to get through here, won't get up on the ramp, so doesn't see anything at this point really. But yeah, this is a great trick, and I love to do it. I don't do it too often, but yeah, when you pull it off, it feels absolutely fantastic. And yeah, as a Terran, it's hard to know what to look for this really. Obviously, you've seen their mutas, but you like, where are the lurkers? And then suddenly they're in your mineral line, and everything is dead.
Yeah. Oh man, though. He's got the Overlord in position by the 9, but he still has to get Hydras over there. That's like kind of the problem with doing a build like this. It's actually hard to get things in position. But if you get around and you could just stop this, it's gonna feel so good.
Absolutely.
You see lurker aspect about nearing completion. So is that Overlord drop. A couple Hydras made, so moving ahead well ahead. This is not wing it kind of build. Vile Tomato did practice this, it looks like. Ready to bring some real nonsense into the finals here, risking the game entirely. I wonder if the coaches are all like watching the game like this, just like, oh dear God, not like this. Because if this build doesn't work, it looks terrible. You can see the first scan's going down. It's in the main. Sees the Hydra Den, so knows lurkers are up, but does not know what's really happening.
This is these what's called? Yeah, these Marines are going to move out now. I actually missed the Hydras. Actually, no, those spot them, so we'll move down. And we'll pick off this force. Then it looks like, and this should tip you off at this point. If you see some suspicious Hydras trying to look inconspicuous down here, then yeah, should alert you. And Vader is going to find these lurker eggs, which, again, alarm bells should start ringing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they shot the Overlord. I don't know if he's actually thinking about what's happening, though. The lurkers get canceled on the south side, so not going to waste the extra minerals or anything. You still have lurker tech to defend back at home and see, even making a good amount of sunken, so respecting the counterattack if that was going to be the choice from Vader to move across the map. But here's these lurkers about to finish over at that 9 o'clock. Into the Overlord they go. And you can see buildings being made, starports being made here. They're going to see an Overlord fly on in here and be like, wait, what the hell is happening here?
Oh my God. And yeah, now Vader panicking, getting up. I think he realizes what's going on. The lurkers drop out and there's no turrets here. And suddenly, there's not much you can do. It's, oh my God.
There
Yeah,
is at least one scan available, but like with all these buildings, you have to be so careful how you engage. You can see Vader thinking about it. He pulled all the guys away, didn't take too much economic damage throughout this. While Tomato is taking a third base over at the 12 o'clock. These lurkers slowly working on supply depots. Take the damage you can. Here comes that first scan. They weren't targeting. Oh god.
Oh my god. Oh, I feel for Vader. Oh my god. Yeah. It would just try and move a few Marines around the top, just get us around in that sort of sense. But it's so tricky, and I can feel the frustration coming from this replay at this point.
I feel the fucking glory. This is the power. Like someone like is watching this and be like, you know who my favorite player is? It's Age. I need him to teach me how to play this game. You see another scan going down. They're trying to attack into this. These lurkers. Oh, one does go down. The second one barely survives. Another scan behind it. Finally enough to clean it up. That tank really coming in clutch, but does kill a scan. It forces so much disrupted mining time. Bought time for that third base. So overall, I'm not sure if it was worth it, but it was definitely worth it.
Bonus style points for Vile tomorrow at this point. You know, it's yeah, even if you lose the other two series in horrific fashion, like, you know, there's like proxy bunker, whatever, proxy barracks or something like that. You know, at least game one you got off a monstrous like lurker build.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing upgraded armor finally on the way. Hive also being worked for, so you still can work towards any kind of defiler tech, kind of keep pushing forward, because Vader can't move out on the map right now. After that kind of crap happens, this is a lot of lurkers made. The Tomato kind of shoring up to the bases, getting on 3 base without too much issue here. And here we go, Spire on the way as well. So you're going to have the ability to get some Scourge, but you know what? If you're going to do one weird thing, I want to see all the weird things. Let's see that Greater Spire. You push in from the right side of that natural, where Guardians could just sit there and feel so good about themselves. You see, it's a lot of disruption here at this point. There's not a lot of turrets. The force got pretty eliminated. Although Vader's done a good job building back up. Looking like they're trying to think about moving back out on the map, maybe securing that third base.
Yeah, I guess silver lining for Vader was that he instantly pulled all of his SCVs. He managed to get them all the way in time, and obviously he lost a lot of Marines and such, really, which is painful. But his economy is still strong, so if he can just, you know, chill out a bit, like, okay, bit of a tough start, you know, just regroup, try and take the game a bit slower, and yeah, push things out gradually.
A little unfortunate here. I see that Zergling's speed is being researched. Things got delayed here. But look back at that natural. Remember that Overlord that didn't get killed? Like they got shoved away just a little bit. Slowly, we're going in for round 2, and this, like, I'd be very impressed if Vader saw this coming before lurker shots came off. He could react in time for this. I'd be very impressed.
This is. You can see the micro as well. I'm trying to move away from the turrets. He knows what he's doing, and poor Vader is just blissfully unaware, trying to macro up, trying to recover from the first one. Little does he know, 2 lurkers are about to drop in.
He was attempting to make a turret, so here comes everything getting pulled back. And if the lurkers do get dropped, they are burrowed. They're going to try to get some damage done to some Marines, but there is siege tanks. They're going to be able to clean this up not too much, but still some decent damage going through. Not sure if it's worth 2 lurkers, but still, actually at the end of that, getting enough SCV, so it was at least like 4 Marine kills, at least like 5 or 6 workers, slows down 1 turret from being made as well. So I think overall, kind of worth it, but again, just buying time, disrupting the opponent, and then look up at that top left corner, that double gas base. While Tomato's trying to make a claim on that, while Vader has to stay at home and deal with shenanigans.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking to someone earlier in the weekend, saying, you know, StarCraft favors the aggressor, and even if these little tricks with the lurkers don't do too much, you know, get a few SCVs, and like I say, it does get the drone lead, but just putting that pressure on your opponent just freaks them out, frazzles the mind, they miss macro cycles, so big fan of doing it. Just keep your opponent under pressure, and you can see just getting up your Ultralisks and stuff like that, running away with the game at that point.
Well, it's not even Ultralist, man. Look, there's that Greater Spire. This guy, like, heard me in the future. He's like, oh, I got the game for you. Don't worry. Look, the meter's already moving in position. You see plenty of scans for Vader going down. Does scan that 11 o'clock, thinking maybe that would be the Zerg 4th. Does not see it taken, so I wonder if he's like going to be a little unaware of how bad the situation might actually be here for Tomato. Currently ahead on workers, even supply way ahead on the tech race, as the Ultralist armor kind of coming through. Level 2 armor also upgraded and started up here. Defiler's on the way, so just a grab bag from Zerg Tech. Like, Vader's going to move across the map, take the classic strategy of just go kill him.
Yeah, if someone is sieging your base with guardians and all sorts of shenanigans, just kill them. Just please, you know. So don't let them get into your brain too much. And these siege tanks will help. Obviously, got the vessels out for spotting these lurkers on the high ground as well. So siege up, take out this third base, get the Zerg down to 2 bases. Obviously, well, say 2 bases. Obviously, the top left as well, but should be able to spot this out. Loses a few Marines there, a bit unfortunate, but yeah, no need to push up this round. Get your siege tanks nice and locked down.
Yeah, you can just wait for the irradiates. I think actually the raids were actually hitting 2 lurkers at once, so... Or did they? No, it was 2 different irradiates, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. But still, it's going to be able to take this vision to kill off these lurkers eventually. But look at that miss chance. That lurker, like, dodged 4 shots. That was fantastic here. Slowly going to keep working up. There's not a lot of defense here. But here's those Guardians being morphed now, so we're going to be able to start working on having to deal with that crap. While Tomato has a couple Scourge, they're going to try to fly to the vessels, don't actually get there in time. A lot of Ultralists are finished, and remember, they do got their upgrades. They don't have the speed, but the armor is done, plus 3 armor right now. There's only 1-1 for the bio, so it's not tremendously big, but still a lot of siege tanks here as well. They're actually doing a pretty good job cleaning this up. Not even all the tanks are siege. I actually kind of like this. But the bio, there's just not a lot here. The Ultralists managed to push through. They're on top of the tanks now. And this is just buying times. Like, you wiped out all the force, you're pissing off your opponent, and the vessels do come back to deal with these Guardians. Irradiates go down, but 2 more Guardians go. There's not enough energy for more Irradiates behind it. This is just a crazy game all over the place.
There's probably no worse feeling when you send your vessels down here to like take out 2 Guardians, and then you see 2 more Guardians spawning on top of it as well. You're like, oh my god, when does it end? When will this hellish game draw to a close? But yeah, I do feel for Vader here. He's had everything, including the kitchen sink, thrown at him this game. Does get a Wraith out, so he will clean this up eventually, but the damage has been done here.
I mean, it's also, this is game 1 of a series. This is mental damage too. You're just like pissing your opponent off in every way possible. Like, imagine like it's games 2 or 3, or like just games like 1, 2, whatever it ends up being. If it is just like, I'm gonna play standard. That's it. I go wild in game 1 and I play the most standard game in history for the rest of it. Like, you'd be just so messed up mentally. You'd be like, what the hell is this crap? This isn't fair.
I do respect the range of Tomato here. Just, yeah, throwing everything, absolutely everything out. And like you say, yeah, it just... Yeah, if we're going standard next game, we'll absolutely throw him off. But in this game, 4 bases, you know, with that extra double gas as well, it's firmly in the driving seat here, and I don't see many ways for him to lose in this sort of position.
Well, I'm seeing multiple Wraiths just kind of patrolling around the base. They do finally get that Overlord that was over at the 9 o'clock from early on in the game. And this is a good thing, because this is right in time where that 3rd CC does finish, so that will, you know, hide the attempt to take the next base. Vader, despite all the shenanigans, despite all the harassment and all the things that have been done here, still has a pretty intimidating army. They do scan, they're moving up, just to kind of secure that 3rd base. They still have no idea about that top left end at all, unfortunately. A lot of upgrades for Zerg still going through here, more ultras being made, and we're seeing melee armor upgrades going through, Defilers working on that consume as well. So both players moving into a solid late game. Vile Tomato looking really good though, having all the tech already done, and 4 bases pretty much up and running at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. We see that obviously Vader a bit frazzled here. Hasn't been using his starports to try and get out more vessels, which I think is the only sort of lead you have here really, is that there's not many Scourge on the map and stuff like that, so trying to get those out, like I say, throwing out and radiates on these lurkers are a good way to try and buy yourself a bit of time. But yeah, mainly just the Marine Medic sort of force here, which isn't going to be able to stand up very well to a sort of heavy Ultralisk army. And there we go, I say that, and here comes the Scourge to take out the vessels.
Well, they do only manage to get 1. The other 2 do manage to escape without too much issue. The Wraiths are over on the bottom or right side of the map, so if Zerg try to take those bases, they should be able to stop the drone hopefully beforehand. And you can see the lanes moving forward, seeing a giant move out of SCV is being transferred over to that 3rd base. So I think Zerg now knows there's 3rd base in play. You have another angle to attack from if you're going to try to pull anything. But they're just building up this really intimidating ground force. Ultra, Lurker, Ling, and they got the Defiler. Consume is done now. Ooh, Scourge going through. They're taking out Wraiths. That's fun. Sure. Why not?
No, he's committed to the memes in this game. Like, throw the Scourge away. Why not? You've got a million gas at this point. He can do what he wants at this point. But yeah, I feel like Vader, if he can just maybe get these siege tanks behind the bunkers and stuff like that. He knows that there's ultras out here, so they obviously get messed up by the AI trying to move past buildings and stuff like that. So I'm not sure there's too much advantage being out here where he can probably get surrounded. I'm not too sure, but the Zerg army isn't that massive that he can get easily overwhelmed, I guess.
No, Vader's gonna poke up to the top left. Sees that the base is there. There's only a couple Lings and some Sunkens. Not a lot of real defense here. There's no Nidus or anything made, so they're transferring army through. Vader didn't move forward enough to see it, but here comes the counterattack from Vile. Going towards the Terran third base. There's only a bunker here. There's not a lot, so you're gonna be able to clean this up. A lot of SCV kills on the way. Vader hasn't committed to attacking the top left as well. Big force here from Zerg, doing a lot of damage at Terran third base. They're going to try to reinforce and slow this down, but this is still a great attack from Violence, doing so much work, and Vader lost sight of their goal over at the top left.
Absolutely, and taking down the third bases for the Terran, and just, yeah, we've got 4 base economy over, taking 5th or something like that, and yeah, there's very, very tough here for Vader to try and pull us back. Doesn't lose this base, of course, but he's lost so many SCVs in the meantime.
Yeah, you can see that attack that was going over the top left. It did try to go through, killed a Sunken, but didn't manage to get too much more. Enough Lings and Lurkers did end up coming through at the end. Here comes the reinforcements to clean up that attack as well. And this is an opportunity for Vile. You see Defiler's moving over to the top left, a drone up at the 11 to take the next base. So despite the memes, despite the weird path we got here, the late game for Vile is looking pretty standard and normal, doing a great job containing Vader and keep slowing them down.
Absolutely, absolutely. You get such huge gas bank where, like, see 6 ultras being pumped out at a time here, and yeah, this is, you can have as many ultras as you want. Who needs Lings at this point? You can just get a pure ultra force if you want. It's yeah, it kind of feels like Vader's painted into a bit of corner. Does re-establish his third base at last again, so transferring those SCVs over, but it feels like maybe get a few siege tanks on this high grounds to prevent another run by would be useful.
Yeah. I like what we're seeing here, though. Gets that next base up. The upgrades for both players very good. Vader's on 3-2 for the bio. We got the 3 armor on the way for, or 3 armors completed for the Zerg unit. So they're going to be, those ultras still going to be as good as they're going to end up being, but they don't have any kind of advantage. The drone count, Valtamir is actually ahead here. Vader's moving up to the top left, trying to put some pressure on. Has a decent army here. A couple ultras going to come in from the front. No radiates to help out with the damage. Here comes a little bit of a surround from the left side as well, but it gets hesitated from Vile. Doesn't really commit hard into it. A lot of radiates going down. Finally, the first Dark Swarm we saw in one of these fights. It's going to slow everything down. It's going to get a lot of this Terran army to at least back the hell up, buy himself some space. Valtamir is still making a lot of units back at home as well. The Zerg force does get cleaned up, but gets some decent skills. And look, some Lings and Lurkers moving through the middle of the map. They can surround from behind or go to attack that third base again. They're going for base number 3.
This is it, really. I mean, you know the Terran army is displaced, really. It's going to be a bit slow to move, so get in, disrupt as much as you can, and you see so much army here for the Zerg, and keep him well on top of his macro here. You can see Vader's obviously peaked at 2k minerals here, but Valtamir is spending everything very, very well.
I'm not congratulating Zerg players on their macro if they're going ultras. You don't get any congratulations if you're making ultras that you're macroing well.
Yeah, it is my greatest feeling where you've not macroed all game, your ultra cavern finishes, it's like you press the C key, and then suddenly you've got, like, you know, 20 ultras on the way, and you've got 0-0 left, and you're like, ah, yes, my macro is immaculate.
Well, the force over to 3 o'clock does a lot of damage, but doesn't get cleaned up. It's really close, but there's a drop from the Terran inside the main. They're gunning down that Defiler mount as fast as possible. Plague's on the way, not going to get finished here. That'd be a big win. The force that was trying to clear up the ultras at the 3 o'clock isn't actually enough to get the job done. Defiler mount doesn't get finished. Ultra's going to clean up the drop. And you look at that supply, Vile Tomato from going about even or slightly down all game. Now currently 30 ahead, 15 more workers, keep shutting down the third base, which Vader's naturals mined out. The main's really close to it as well, actually that lasting longer after that lurker drop. And you can just see Vile's not giving Vader space to breathe, taking another base at the bottom right. Love what we're seeing from Vile. I'm actually surprised this is tier 3 play.
No, absolutely. Looking very, very strong player here. Just not skipping a beat at any point. And, here I was bigging up Vader, and it just, the memes got to him, and the memes get to everyone at some point. So, yeah, very, very tough game for him. Very, very tough game.
SCV's trying to get out, get transferred to the other base, but here comes that big Zerg attack at the front. Lots of ultras. There's just not enough units here. We're gonna assume is this top versus bottom. It was top versus bottom. We'll assume that's an ally chat. We're not gonna shade anyone like that, but you know what? A clean game 1 win for. Ah, shit! I didn't change the player names. You guys, come on, tell me if I don't switch the player names.
There we
No,
go.
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, so it was Amigos Wild Tomato taking game 1 very cleanly, I gotta say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And no, I mean, to be fair, I feel like after so many memes being thrown at you in that game, I do. If you don't want to GG, if you I don't know, if you forget to press the enter button or something like that, it's
Oh, don't. Oh,
no.
hey, the guy listen, I'm not on your team. I said it's top versus bottom. It starts by ally chat. I gave you an excuse. The fact that you're defending him more, now it seems suspicious. Now it's like, well, I get it. You're getting memed on a lot. You're just like, you don't want to be like, listen, we're not an Artosis YouTube clip, okay? Like,
Hey, he's an influential Terran, Artosis, and I'm sure many Terrans take after him these days. Unfortunately, I do worry about the next generation of Terrans coming up watching him at the moment. But yeah, we'll see. After this, we'll see if Vader can bring this back.
oh, we'll find out. We're in game 2 on Polypoid in the top right in that Olive. It's Violet Tomato, currently up 1 game after lots of shenanigans, but a very exciting game. And in the bottom right in the blue Terran, it's AK Vader. I see, after watching game 1, I try to rearrange the groups. I'm like, let's put in the order where I'm like, oh, this will be good, nice balance between time and players. And I put Barisu out of the last. I'm like, if there's gonna be memes, it'll be Barisu. But no, I was wrong. Well, I might not be wrong, but apparently there's someone else gunning for the title.
Yeah, Barisu's games are legendarily filled with memes and that sort of. I'm looking forward to him in that regard. But yeah, Valtomato, doesn't want to be outdone in this regard. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he'll throw out this game. I'm trying to think of all the meme builds that Zerg has, but I'm not sure.
Oh no, Barisa's here. He heard me say that.
Oh no.
Barisa, you're a very notably castable person. That's all.
I do enjoy his games every week. So and he always leaves a comment in his games as well, and that we have a little spreadsheet saying what happened in the games, and it was like game 1 nukes, game 2 something like that. It's just, oh my god, what happened? In my games there was lurkers and there was hydras, and it went on for 20 minutes.
I just want to see interview the coach. It's like, all right, how do you coach Barisu? And that's shrugged. Or dude, we don't he just does his thing, man. We try. He doesn't listen to us.
There are some people who are free spirits, I've got to say, and I think Barisu is definitely one of those in this end. All respect to him. I think I know he played last CPL. I didn't see many of these games, but he's been very strong this season. So yeah, I'm happy to see him doing well.
I mean, doing well for this. If he cleaned it up and played more standard, I think he should be in tier 2. But he just refuses to. That's the only problem. But we got other players to talk about so far this game. Vader, I see a Rax on the way. No early gas and no Goliath build shenanigans. And it is a hatchery first, so we're not going to see that awesome 9 pool doing a million damage like we saw in the other series earlier today. So nothing too unusual here. The pool's done. The gas seems a little more delayed from Violet this game, so I wonder if we're actually going to see 3 hatch play.
This will be interesting. Yeah, it's no, I don't see it too often for hatch play in my own my own circle, should I say, in that regard. But it definitely has its strengths. Vader will get an SCV scout off straight away, so he's going to see what's going on, and might be a bit perplexed by the lack of gas.
Well, I mean, there's definitely some opportunities to be a little bit greedier, use that extra larva, and it's just going to depend on what we're seeing. There is that 3rd hatchery, gas immediately following up, so yeah, different kind of look to this game, more macro kind of focus, not going to try to get the early damage done. And that could even just be a result. It's this is how I played game 1. What if I completely play differently in game 2? So I was like,
Absolutely.
I liked what we're seeing here. We're seeing an early CC from Vader, not on the low ground this time, though. Ends up actually being on the high ground as well, and to take the extra safety, float it over later, which I'm okay with. I have no problem with that. You're not losing that much of an advantage by having to do that for the risk that what if it was early lanes and you can't defend it.
Absolutely, yeah. So even getting a bunker as well, it feels a bit excessive in this regard, but it's not the end of the world in that regard. Yeah, I know the position as well that people get usually a supply depot and a bunker as well to like minimize surface area, whereas this is just out in the open. But it does the job, and these things won't be able to get in, and they'll get shoot away if they try to move in.
Yeah, I mean, we'll end up seeing here. Here comes that initial lair. So it's going to be 3 hash lair play. This could be a big, strong swell of Mutilis, or it could be a really strong kind of Hydra play if you're looking for that. Get those lurkers up nice in bulk, have the economy behind it, and then set up your next bases while Vader. It just isn't in a comfortable spot to move around. We're seeing more barracks going down here in Academy as well, so still staying on 2 racks Academy, nothing too unusual. The SUV is having a little bit of a party, have no idea how to get down a ramp. That's unfortunate, but so we've all seen units be able to do that. Hey, wait,
Yeah.
so hold on, I just never noticed this, right? Like, look at the mineral formation at the natural at the bottom right. Is that normal? 2 minerals vertically stacked? Is that normal? I've never freaking noticed that. That's crazy.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know actually. It's one of those things that you don't realize is weird until you look at it, and now I'll probably never look at that the same way again. Really. I'm trying to look.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like it's mining okay. I just never really noticed that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
very, yeah, got respect to Vader. Like, looks like he's not too put out after that start game. Obviously, we played a bit safe, like say CC on the high ground there and the bunker, but going for his 2 racks academy play, like say, just playing a bit safe. Well, playing standard really, and playing not being too heavily disrupted. And did get off the SUV guard as well, so he knows that nothing too tricky. 2 creep colonies at the front of Val Tomato's base as well, so he'll be safe against anything, but I'm not sure if those were entirely justified. Like, he saw nothing from Vader that threatened it, no vultures or anything like that, so it's quite an interesting choice.
Oh, fantastic. This is something I was looking for when I saw the base layout for Vile. To use that extra hatchery, the spire's way off to the left. The first 2 scans missed that spire, so the tech choice not seen by Vader, playing completely in the dark about what's going on here. Has to kind of just take a guess at it, unfortunately. So, like, that's a little kind of trick. That's all you gotta do. It's like, you see that extra hatchery, you gotta think, where did they put the tech? Is it way off to the side like that? And now you're gonna see, is Vader gonna respect it? The eBay is done. Can just start working on some turrets and be prepared before the spire finishes. So I don't think so. It's just gonna be if they're willing to spend the money, or they're gonna gamble, so they can get something else instead. And we're seeing some lane speed about to finish, lots of mutas on the way, and finally some turrets being produced back at home. Just gotta be careful.
I think, yeah, Vader obviously having a bit more leniency here. Obviously sees 3 hatch Muta is obviously hits a bit later. 2 hatch Muta usually hits around like 6-minute-ish mark, but 3 hatch Muta does hit later. But the upside of it is, you can see here, it could be 10 mutas popping out immediately. So 2 turrets in the main is could be very, very tricky to hold this huge sort of swell of Mutalisks.
And the units are even actually moving into the middle of the map here. There's no units here to spot them, so looking like that first attack point is going to be the left side of the natural, which has 1 turret barely defending it. But they do fly forward. I think that little Marine force from Vader did see it. You see, looks like Tomato wants to try to micro this down a little bit. Gets 1 good hit, kills some medics for free. That's a great move right there. And you can see, gonna already start working on his army. Vader tried to move out, unfortunately, a little too far. Doesn't have the muscle to really secure this, and slows down the star production as well. More turrets trying to go down, but this is a little bit more robust build. He can keep trying to work his way through. There's no turrets finished by the production. He's going to slow those down and go straight for the natural. It's hard for Vader to defend this, but he has a lot of turrets. Tomato has to be careful not to lose too much trying to escape. Still has 7 meters alive, most of them kind of bruised up, reasonably low health, but still pretty good damage for that first swipe, and it's just buying time for Lurker aspect to get started. But Tomato has not taken another pace behind it, and that is concerning me.
Absolutely, yeah. Vader, obviously losing those medics is so painful there. Those Marines were able to be sort of sniped down, but he has been able to get up his few more turrets around. Obviously this stop was still exposed, but he should be able to stabilize here and find obviously up on the high ground against these mutants is never great, but these mutants are very bruised and will slowly get taken down.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those, you're at Zerg and you think your move for some force is really strong until you turn back. It's the situation you see now. There's like 3 of them left, now 2 here. A lot of them get taken out. It's like, wait, I had 7. What the hell? And it's like, unfortunately, not anymore. You don't. A third base does get taken at 12 o'clock, and these Queen's Nest just being started, so going to be able to work towards Hive Tech. I don't think any players in a particularly bad spot. Tomatoes drone count, I think, could have been a little healthier. Maybe take the third a little bit earlier. But both sides taking some damage, getting slowed down a bit. Tomatoes still actually up on supply, so reasonably, I don't think this went too badly at all.
Yeah, I think again it's another advantage of going 3 hatches that you've got so much lava to work off of, and you can see that there was a bit of a macro slip as he was attacking with his mutants, but as soon as that's over, he was just able to use all those lava and sort of get himself back down, and like I say, just macro as he needs. They're going to play a bit of a longer lurker game. Hive coming out later than we expect, as you say. But yeah, these mutas, I don't know. It kind of feels like the time is going to be like past soon. I don't know. It depends. There's still not enough turrets at the top of the base for Vader to shoo them away, but they won't be as effective as they were in the first swipes.
I mean, honestly, I think at this point you're using it like we could have seen just right there. A lot of nice little buildings to play with on the map itself. Just slow down the reinforcement, slow down the push. You don't need to do anything. Vader did scan that third base, and that's what he was moving out for. He wanted to go up there, put pressure on, especially before high finishes, before the lurkers really reinforce it. But the mutas show up in time, slow things down. More free meta kills. So managing to just kill these healthcare workers. This guy's an enemy of the current world situation. Doesn't like any of this. But manages to take out some more buyout in the middle of the map. Vader has to stay back at home and rebuild up, reestablish. But now at least we're seeing vessels are on the way. Irradiate's being researched as well. So I think at some point Vader's going to feel comfortable moving out. And while Tomato's not drastically far ahead, even though he's done a good amount of damage.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got the lurkers on the high ground of the third now, so that's pretty secure. But like you say, well, as soon as these vessels come out, I can start radiating those, and we'll be able to put on pressure. But he's already lost, like, the 2 groups of Marine Medic and stuff. It's so painful to do, and it's the ultimate goal for Zerg, especially in this type of game. Like you say, is just to keep the Marine Medic low as possible, really, and just try and get towards that late attack.
Yeah, a little unfortunate what we're seeing here. If you actually look at the Zerg base, that natural very undersaturated compared to the other bases. With this drone count, you got to be careful not to just kind of autopilot send them. It's like, oh, send them all to the third, because now the third is way oversaturated compared to the natural. So not getting quite the maximum. More drones being added on back at home, though. So Valtimator is going to take the work count lead, working towards Ultralist as well behind this. So it seems to be the classic move. Make the Ultras, keep the armor upgrades reasonable. They are a lot slower than they have been in games past, so Vader could be up on the upgrades to stay ahead. We're seeing a little bit of move forward. A couple lurkers are here, but there is a vessel, free mobile detection. I don't think Tomato wants to really try to take this in the middle map. He's going to back right off. He managed to get the irradiate off on a lurker beforehand, though.
Siege tank count is pretty low, though, really. So with that, obviously, if you spread the Marines, you can try and take that on, but it's very, very difficult in that regard. So, but yeah, it kind of feels like that Vader needs to get up that siege tank count behind this as well, and just it'll help sieging down this position is much easier.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised Vader's spending the money as best they can, because like for this point in the game, you'd figure they would have more barracks or something. They're only working on 4 barracks, adding on a dropship now from one of the starports. That could be a big move to negate some of the stuff we're seeing. Tomato's taking the 4th base up at the top left too, so gonna try to stretch the opponent thin. Lots of drones pretty transferred well ahead of time here, so like that actually is nowhere near done. But hey, they got there safely. That's all you're really looking for at this point, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, Vader in an awkward spot. Obviously, playing for that dropship sort of tech will help significantly, but it feels like you should just try and get that third base up if he can in that sort of sense, and just try and grind things out. But it's going to be difficult, really. 4 base Zerg is nothing to, or 4 gas, should I say, Zerg is very, very hard to take on.
Look at these couple Marines that stuck around the left side. They might actually see that top left base. Not going to be enough force to actually shut it down, but confirm that it's there. Greater Spire nearing completion as well. We are seeing Mutalisks that are just hanging out to the left side of that natural, and drops are being researched as well. So again, Valtimator getting all the tech available, wants to have every option as they get through. These Marines do find that 4th base from the Zerg, and are actually going to start pushing forward here. There's a couple vessels that are really being careful for Scourge and for Lurkers. This first one, yeah, managed to save it from the Scourge. Great move there. Vader's going to slowly try to push forward. Tomato's in a pretty good spot right now. These Marines actually doing a great job shutting down this top left base, though. Looks like finally a couple Lurkers going to come and help.
The Guardian's been morphed actually in the bottom left, so it looks like Valtamar does want to inflict pure mental damage onto poor Vader at this point. And he will be having many nightmares tonight, and probably many nightmares for years to come about Guardians. And I don't know, they're not something I see a lot in ZVTs, and I think after seeing this game, I'm going to start building Great Aspires, I think, in my matches.
I mean, the outranged turrets are, like, you see especially here in this position where it's like you can't even get your ground force to help. Now, they are a bit dumb. You have to be careful to, like, not let them fly into turret range, as you're seeing here. But still, they do really good damage here. They're even actually decent against Bio, straight up, just because of the raw damage. They are a little bit far forward, have to be careful. Don't want to be just floating in that Marine range. But still, great damage being done here. The top left gets secured, and it looks like we're going to be able to get some more units up in that area. A drone's by the natural looking to take up the next base. Here comes some irradiates, but there's 3 vessels here, there's 4 Guardians, and even then, like, there's not a whole lot of race, so this is still doing some pretty good damage to the natural, disrupting Vader, who hasn't managed to get a third base set up yet.
Absolutely, absolutely. And looks like Vader's just going to try and load up some dropships and try and deal his own damage, while awkwardly these vessels just stare at these Guardians, and they have this awkward sort of, I'm going to kill you eventually with radiates, but I don't know when that's going to happen.
Well, the first drops up at the top left. There's 2 more dropships at Vader's natural. You can see trying to get something done. There's no drones here. The Lurkers do move forward a little bit more. They want to try to shut this down before Vader can get any real damage up the top left. And here you see more dropships up to the top left. So big attack, trying to shut down that base. These Guardians still alive. Finally, 2 more wraiths get made. They're going to shut down the Guardian threat. And I don't think we'll see Guardians for the rest of the game, as it looks like we're going to start moving towards Ultralisk here. So a very similar game to what we saw in the first one. The big difference, though, look at Vile Tomato. Is actually kind of starved for gas in comparison here. Is getting all this tech early on. The second drop does start working up at the bottom, or up at the top left. Is it enough force to deal through this, though? A couple Scourge coming in. If they can kill these dropships, that would definitely be good. But these Marines doing great damage. Lurkers get burrowed. It's just going to be as this Ultra is going to be enough to deal with this. And it's close. This is real close. He's going to be able to clean this up. But with that second Ultra coming in, I think the defense is secure at the top left.
Absolutely. I feel like Vader might miss the trick there. I mean, obviously send that first drop ship to the top left, and maybe they send those other 2 dropships to, like, the middle, the mid base, like 12 o'clock or stuff like that, which is, you know, no real lurkers around the mineral lines and stuff like that. Just try and play your opponent apart a bit. Don't focus everything in one area. And that's might have done a bit better. But obviously, again, hindsight is 2020. This is the stress of the finals, and you know, you got your team's life on the line potentially. So yeah, I can feel the pressure for Vader.
Well, we're definitely going to see a longer game here, because as you can see, Vader is building a 4th CC down to 6 o'clock. They just landed their 3rd CC at that mineral-only base right by the natural, so looking like they're going to be able to get everything set up here. Vile Tomato did take their 5th up at the natural of the other main that they took, so both players really kind of getting a lot of economy behind it, going to be able to move forward. The big thing is that Vader's going to have to actually add on some more infrastructure to spend all this money. Without taking that extra main, having that extra space to work with, you can see already kind of struggling with the base layout, just to have enough room for all these buildings you want to make.
Yeah, this it's something I always forget as a Zerg, is that obviously we just have hatcheries that produce units infinitely in that sort of sense, but it's so much of playing Terran and Protoss is just base management and stuff like that, just putting things perfectly and making the most of the space you have. And like you say, the infrastructure is going to be very, very difficult for Vader here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things, you can just take a look. Look at the top right of his main, all these depots. It's a nice little path to help you defend things, but now that we're in the late game, you need this extra space. These depots are really in the way. It's kind of like a little unfortunate to see this kind of situation happen. But still, while these bases did get established between the players, a lot of attack from Vile Tomatoes it's going to attack that base down to 6 and taking another one over at the 9. So I love what we're seeing. Tomato doing a very good job expanding over and over. Consume's on the way, still making all these high-tech units, upgrading them well. There is a supply depot wall over by that ramp, so it's going to be hard to actually work up here, but that's not going to stop him from trying. But that first siege shot will.
Yeah. But you know, say with Ultimate just making the right moves here, he knows the turn is passive. There's not much they can do. The dropship plays, it's kind of fizzled out. There's not been, I say that a dropship is being loaded up as I speak, but you know, the point is, right, there's not much Terry can do in this position. He's you know, turtled up his doesn't feel like too confident moving out. There's obviously Ultralisk. He knows that Zerg's got Ultralisk tech. So if your opponent's not attacking you, take more bases, take as much as the map as you can, get that gas going, and keep things going. Really, you can see these radiates go down. They're actually going to cause maximum damage on all of these Ultralisk essentially.
Yeah, it's still a lot of Zerg move though towards that mineral only base that Vader did take. It's enough to force the lift. There's a lot of radius on these ultras. They're still going through. I see some Scourge connecting, whittling down some of this vessel count. Things are moving forward, but this is a great defense. Vader actually kills off all these Zerg units before anything gets in there. Evens up that unit count, so now Vader's ahead again by a little bit. It did stop mining at a base, bought time, but here's that drop over at that 9 o'clock base. And we're going to be dealing with the same kind of defense we just saw at the top left. The drops, I think, will get cleaned up eventually. Kills the extractor. Don't think they'll be able to get to the hatchery in time, as here comes some reinforcements for Tomato to try to defend this. Oh
Yeah.
god, these are slow ultras, man. Where's that ultra speed upgrade? What the hell?
Always forget ultra speed, you know. It makes such a difference as soon as you get it because they move like bullets. It's insane. But see, Vader wants to move out in the middle of the map maybe a bit more in that sort of sense. There's so many overlords actually got rallied off, so you can get a few free snipes here. But you know, the Ultralisk account was reset. There are some more here now, but these vessels are still around, so they should be able to radiate and take this down. And it's only 3-1 for the Ultralisk, so it's not like there's the massive like 5-3 upgrade.
Well, as you said 3-1, it's now 4-1.
Of course. Yeah, I should just stop talking, you know. I don't know.
Well, here,
Scourge coming in, yeah.
a lot of Scourge going in. They don't get a lot of the vessels. They do turn back before anything, but still, it's enough to just keep slowing down that mineral-only base. He keeps trying to move forward. The siege line down by the Naturals really helping, like, make sure that a lot of these units do get killed off. They can't advance too far forward, but still, it's a lot of pressure up here. Vile Tomato started to build up a bit of a bank, and I would love to see them start using more Dark Swarms, as we're finally going to see that in play. This play's about to finish as well, so this could be an opportunity to really kind of move forward, but it's still slowing down the space. Vader does try to take the third. I see he's floating, but not landing just yet. And like, I love just watching these movements in the late game, just seeing where people think they have an opportunity, or they just want to keep muscling through like this battle alley connecting the two naturals of the players.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, trying to take. I think this is one way that Vader can bring, like, drop ships and stuff like that. Just try and move around the map. You can see there's actually still these ultras on the far left, not actually attacking these marines. So this is the longest drop ever.
What the?
Left, but it's...
What the crap? Come on! Oh, it's that medic. There's a medic blocking that ultra.
Oh,
that's
my God.
ridiculous. That's so stupid. Attack the medic.
Thank God. But yeah, like I say, doing things like that, like this. It's been very, very hard to attack, like say, through this central canal in the middle. So try and do little things like this all over the place is good. We'll probably try and land this command center again, but it's gonna be so hard to try and take this. Like Zerg just has so much, and you know, 3K Menorah Bank, 6 bases.
Ooh, Scourge. Nice connects, get a couple free vessels without any trouble at all. Yeah, this is definitely, like, I'm concerned because you can see Tomato's taking more and more of the base. You can see even the drones moving down to that bottom left now, so looking like another base on the way here. They got all the tech. They've been doing a good job keeping the upgrades going as they go through. They haven't got Overlord speed, which I know they got drop earlier. So that's the one thing I can see could be a big move. Throw a bunch of cracklings in the main, force your Terran opponent to come back and retreat to deal with all this. So I would say that's like the one thing we haven't really seen. But look, there's a lot of Scourge over on the side, more Death Alley happening as they keep attacking that mineral only. Probably the base Terran cares about the least, but it's the one they're fighting over the most. A lot of Scourge going through. Look at these vessels. Most of them get killed off. There's 2 left as a remainder here. And like the defense keeps holding. Tomato cannot break through that base, although it is just like medics and tanks now. Apparently.
Feels like I don't know. Vader's on a bit of clock though. You can see there's so many SCVs. Oh, a big plague as well.
Ooh,
yeah. But this third base, I guess we want to call it, is just so many SCVs, and still hasn't landed this command center at the 3 o'clock, and it's gonna be difficult. It should really hold these bases as the game goes on. Right? It's tough. You need the SCVs. You need the income to really try and match pace with Zerg.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pressure we're seeing. It keeps Vader back. It keeps kind of resetting things. Don't let him accumulate. You can see Tomatoes actually look at that drone count. 77 drones up on supply. So this is like big macro Zerg. It's like ultras or I will lose because ultras couldn't do the job. That seems to be the style we're looking at here. Finally, Vader looks like they're going to land at 3 o'clock base. And you can actually see some of the Zerg bases mining out. This game's been going on for long enough here. Needs to get some nices up to transfer those drones to some other bases instead, I think.
It would be ironic if the Zerg mines out the map before the Terran mines out at all, but yeah, it looks like more stuff trying to come from Death Alley, but no, come around to the left. But the supply depot wall has been re-established, and it's going to be difficult to break this again. No defiler at this point. So,
I mean, we just saw earlier in the game he was willing to use Guardians. If you want to break it to fight like a depot wall, this Guardians are great for crap like that. Like that would be a move. But it's like he keeps just sending the melee units in. It's just not enough here. You can see a raid's going down. This wall buying enough time. Depot gets killed off, but look how many lanes are dying. These ultras taking so much damage. Even that bunker just surrounded with SUVs ahead of time, making sure the repair can go down. And a lot of units going forward to try to kill the bunker, but it's just not enough. Here comes some reinforcements, though. Maybe they can break through. We got plenty of depots here, plenty of irradiates, more units, so many units fighting over the 6 o'clock base at this point. It's freaking ridiculous. But, just it's a lot of ultras, though, enough to get the job done. Upgrades still being mined up back at home. Macro kind of slipping during this fight, but is buying time for that bottom left base to get finished up. The bunker that will never fall, apparently, is trying so hard to stop that bunker. This is absolutely ridiculous.
When I saw like 14 ultras come down, I was like, okay, that bunker is dead. But then we also saw a medic hold off like 5 ultralisks before, so I'm not surprised at this point, really. And yeah, Vader holds 6 o'clock. And this is why he needed all these SCVs here, is to defend the, I don't know, the indestructible bunker, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just seeing more attacks. Finally, we're going back into that mineral only. There's plenty of armies still there, too, so this... I think Tomato's like, oh, you held that on. You had to retrieve some units. Maybe an opportunity, but not quite. He doesn't have any vision of this 3 o'clock base. That would be the base to attack right now. There's not a whole lot to defend that. This is ridiculous, though. That like SCVs, like, repairs are ridiculous. Let's just talk about how stupid that... Like, do you think my shield battery could do crap like that? No. Not a chance.
I guess one thing that slipped for Wild Tomato this game is that he's still on 2-1 upgrades, really, whereas Vader 1 being on the 3-3, so this is a big reason why I can still take good trades. You know, obviously Wild Tomato's taken so much of the map, but, you know, I obviously now upgraded Wild Tomato as I say it, but yeah, it feels like the missing point of this is just get your 3-3 and, like I say, close out the game. Yeah, get your Guardians as well. Like, I don't know, ultras aren't working. Do something, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're sieging like stuff like that, Guardians are so good because they're out of range. There was an attempt to drop in the man of the Zerg. It's cleaned up pretty quickly. Now, look, Vader feels like stepping out of the map away from his bases, but there's just a pile of ultras waiting for him to come out. So I think Vader's gonna think wiser of that, come back home. Doesn't want to really engage into that. Like you're saying, that upgrade count really matters. There's a giant vessel count too. 8 vessels here. D-Matrix is going down. The defense that mineral only really holding up as best as they humanly can. But still, slowly over time, you can see that extra drone count, all these extra bases. Wild Tomato keeps holding the supply lead. It is very slowly growing after every engagement. I see 12 Scourge being made. This vessel's count is going to be in trouble. I can't wait to watch that happen.
Yeah, as we saw, I think it's Condurns' game where no vessels got killed for like 24 minutes, and this Ultimato is not making that mistake, and there we go. You can see vessel count starts going down, and this is one of the main things keeping the Vader alive is these vessels, and it's only 3 left at this point, and things are dwindling.
Yeah, drones being transferred over to the bottom left. I will say, like, this game's been fun. It's been both players trying to play into everything they best they can. These Scourge do find that 3 o'clock base. They fly over a turret, so Valtimir should know about that base now if they want to go attack into it, see what they can get done. But you see all this attack still happening at the middle only. Valtimir still is not using Niduses. That's like the big mistake I think we're seeing here. That if you're using Niduses, you could maybe attack from different angles, be a little more bold with everything. Scourge doing a great job looking at the vessel counts. Finally, as I said, it can't get the job done. But one Ultra moves to that 3 o'clock base. There's a bunch of Marines that are, on a smoke break. They don't want to fight that guy. Get this crap out of here. But it's going to mow through everything by itself. It's going to try its best, but there's enough Marines here, not quite enough.
Anything from this game, he just needs one bunker there, and he's okay. He holds it really, but as things go on, like I think the other missing piece is obviously Defilers as well. Just so many times he's engaged into big swarms of Marines, and it's just like throwing a few Dark Swarms on top of Vultures as well. It just decimates everything, but it won't matter. There's Valtimator's got all the map here, and it's just been able to run over Vader.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Ultras. But yeah, if we had just a couple Dark Swarms, or even honestly with the amount of Ultras and like just trying to brute force through, just Plague. Plague alone would be huge. It's just these Defilers and their spells. But finally, I think the defenses are slowly being broken through. There's still units in these bunkers at the natural. That's ridiculous. These Ultras trying to break through. Finally going to break that mineral-only base. And it's finally enough. Vader's had it. He's done with this crap. And we're going to get a 2-0 from Vile Tomato.
Well played, sir. It's Vile Tomato really doing well. Really doing well in that game. And, it's I don't see enough, like, big macro games. And, Vile Tomato showing a good blueprint there, really. It's just... I don't know, some people get too obsessed of just like, I have to try and kill early in that sort of sense, but Vile Tomato just take them out, get units up and keep things going. I'd like to see that replay again, just see the drones that got transferred to the bottom left at the end of the game. Like, how many times did they like transfer bases in the space of that game? It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, it's wild. Especially just how much drone. You can see, just even the attacks weren't going that great sometimes. Just constantly attacking, constantly keeping Vader back at home. It's like, here's a big attack, expand behind it. Here's an attack, expand, like core kind of gameplay stuff. You saw how effective it ended up being. And if Tomato plays games like that, like they're the ones practiced at playing long games. Like they're the ones used to this crap, unlike everyone else. Is what we were saying.
Absolutely, and. Yeah, I would. I know Vader isn't much of a cheesy player in that sort of sense, but after seeing like game one and like the macro, I don't know. Sometimes you got to fight memes with memes, so I think maybe I would like to see Vader maybe throw out some of those as well. But alas, it's not to be.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we got more serious to go on for, so whenever you hop in the lobby, we get going, dude.
Oh, yeah. 2 a.m. here, my mind just.
Man, everyone in the chat, you should be thanking your boy here. He's staying strong. Make sure I have a co-caster, so I don't have to solo cast in the finals.
I want to take credit. I'm staying up so late, but this is my normal sleep pattern on weekends. Unfortunately, it's like staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Of course, but that's all right. We're gonna get into our fourth series today. We got 5 coming at you. With this one right here in the top right, in that teal Zerg, it's a me imp, and in the bottom left, in the purple Terran, it's statues.
Yeah, I know I did it last game, but I've got to do it again. Statues is a very strong player. He's very good, and I'd be very surprised if he's not tier 2 next season, because he's takes so many good games, and yeah, I'm hyping up my boy here. Okay, all right, let me have my time.
All right, well, since you're gonna keep doing it, now we're gonna put you on blast. What if there's a player that you don't do it for? That you're just not like I'm gonna make sure you say it for every single IKEA player you cast, because if you don't, man, the shade.
That's right. I'll message him. It's like, yeah, you don't need to watch last night cast. Nothing happened. Just it's all right. No, but yeah, let's see what Stagis wants to go for. I don't want to spoil, because I know what build he likes to favor, and I'll have to see if he actually does it. I didn't.
Well, I mean, CPL curse, man. If you say it, it won't happen. So go ahead. What is the favorite build? Is he a Goliath boy?
He is a big Goliath guy, yeah. It's and he knows it works well. Like it's a very strong build. I think last season we saw a lot of Goliath build. I haven't seen it too much, especially against the turns I've played at CPL this season. I haven't seen too many turns go for the Goliath build, but I know it favors it, and it's a strong build. I like it. It's a good build to start off on.
It feels like it goes through ebbs and flows, where it's like it's real popular, and then it's like not anymore for 2 weeks for no reason, and it starts getting popular again. Judging by the speed of that gas, it seems like maybe this time, maybe we're gonna get that Goliath build. Which, I mean, on Eclipse, I like it. It's like you got
Yeah.
plenty of room to move around. It's a lot, very robust. You want to kind of push across and, make it hard for Zerg to hold their bases. So I like this kind of strategy on a map like this. We do see Imp getting that hatchery first, the pool behind it. We'll see if it's going to end up being 3-hatch play or a rush to get this gas. As I said it, here's that gas on the way. So it seems like we're going to get some 2-hatch lair to fight the Goliath build.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I I don't like 2-hatch lurker against, especially since I'm meching in this regard. So I do hope him goes for Muta. Like, yeah, trying to get him with Muta harass and stuff like that. There's lots of tricks he can do with Muta and just keep the turn pinned whilst you try and get things up on your side of the map as well. But yeah, let's see how versed Imp is in the versus mech really.
Well, I'm gonna try. We're gonna try to use my memory from casting because I feel like I've with the games I've cast this season, I've have a good idea how a decent amount of players play. I think I remember Imp being a Muta kind of guy that actually also invested the upgrades for the Mutas, like kind of really leaning into it into the mid game. So we'll see if that ends up being what happened here, or if I'm just misremembering. I could be an idiot, and you never know.
Well, it's a very, very strong thing to do. Like, just mass upgrades and stuff like that. There's lots of things you can do to kind of Goliath build. Like, I know you can also go for like fast Hydra switches as well. Like, you produce a few mutilus and stuff like that, and then the player thinks you're going for pure Muta, and then you switch to Hydra and like catch him off guard and stuff. There's lots of things you can do against this, really. So, yeah, we'll have to see what him does.
I mean, actually, that was one of the things. I remember seeing it in one series that we cast. So it's like a lot of Goliath build, and then the Zerg player played it like they were playing Zerg was Protoss. So it was a lot of Hydra mid game, a lot of just raw force, enough to take the fight straight up. It was like Hydra Ling, and then they went into tech later. They didn't have to rush into it or go anything crazy. Just get the big macro style up. So this SCV, is it going to get killed off? One more little tickle, it's going to be enough, and then you can see that lair well past halfway done. No Hydra then started, so the SCV should have gotten scouting info it was looking for. Should have an idea. It is end up going to be Inspire behind this. And then you see Armory on the way here. We got one factory done, second being made just now, as that CC is going to be finishing up soon. So both players undisturbed, getting into that mid-game spot they want to be in.
We see the Vulture out here in the middle of the map, and these things probably won't survive long. Good microwave from statues.
There's no sunken. There's no sunken for this Vulture. This is trouble. This could be real bad.
This is one of the most painful things. Is you see the panic quick 2 sunks, but no, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
No. They don't see it and run away, and Vulture in the main is painful, very, very painful. Lings do get out, but that's
it's 2 Vultures in the main. God, this is a nightmare. This is going to do so much damage. You have the Sunkens at the natural, but it confirms the Spire. So many worker kills going down, so Statues getting in with 2 Vultures. I was going to jazz on him for being a Goliath boy, but apparently just the Vulture enough. Drops the micro for a bit. It's an opportunity to get the decent surround, but actually does pull it out. There was just not enough units for the Zerg to defend this. The main no longer mining. The Sunkens are done. And this Vulture, honestly, I don't even like that point chasing for more kills. You should just keep him in the main and just slow down the mining to resume as long as you possibly can. Don't even try to chase for the extra kills.
Absolutely. And again, people open Vulture versus in this matchup, and not like some of the game where the Converse where he opened. What was it for? I can't remember. Somebody opened like the 6th thing, Eco 9-pull build, and you don't aim to kill, but sometimes you do just get a lot of damage. I mean, you can see there if you just miss a Sunken, you can do insane damage with with those early Vultures.
I mean, that's the thing about doing any kind of build that has an element that is proactive. That it's like your opponent should defend it. It shouldn't do anything. But what if they don't?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like what we're seeing, though. Factories being added on. It's going to be armor first instead of weapons, just to make them more robust against those mutas, make them harder to kill. And you can see, just from the amount of damage that got done early on, Imp's on 15 drones. Like, he's starting to add on mutas, but that's not even like that initial 6 you want. Look, all the gas is spent. Like, there's only 3 mutas on the field. He's going for an upgrade. It will be carapace instead of weapons. But it's just, there's so little here for Zerg at this point. You can see,
Yeah, it looks like he didn't build this second extractor as natural, and obviously pulled off the extractor in the main as well. So I think in the chaos of everything, he's obviously just forgotten about those, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what are you gonna do with 3 mutas? Like, you can't fight a turret, you
Oh,
can't fight these Goliaths. He's poking in to confirm what's going on, but it's like, you really can't go for harass here. Like, what is it gonna take? It's gonna take 3 swipes to kill 1 SCV. You can see it's just not doing enough. Pulls out without losing it. This Goliath Force is pretty intimidating right now for statues. With supply lead very much in favor. Imp can't get on the map to set up that next space. That's like, they're really going to be struggling to recover from how much damage those vultures did early game.
absolutely, absolutely. And you're limping as a Zerg at this point, really. And the big thing about the Goliath build is that, you know, all it costs statues in this position was 2 vultures. He doesn't care behind this. He was getting up his free factories, getting up his huge SCV lead, and there's going to be a point where eventually statues pushes out, and it's going to be very, very hard to deal with.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Drone does manage to get to the 12 o'clock and try to set up this base. I am very surprised that that managed to happen. There's still an SCV that's scouting up at the front, but I feel like you could have been forward trying to do everything you need to. The +1 armor for Terran is about to finish up, so everything seemed pretty reasonable. Academy about to finish as well, so we'll have that detection, that freedom to start moving forward here. And you see Imp trying to drone up as hard as they can, just hoping if you don't attack me, I'll survive. That's what I'm looking for here. There's still a couple mutas doing what they can, but it's 3 mutas. It's never going to do anything.
Yeah, I call this position the sort of it's the T-Rex move. You know, it can't see me if I don't move, and this is kind of what you pray for as the Zerg. It's just like stay still. They won't attack me. I'm okay. I can get my drones up. Just please. And you know, getting up lurkers though for him. That's a good way to do it. A lot of, you know, obviously concepts out for statues here, but it's hard to break lurkers, especially on that high ground, the third base at 12 o'clock. So it's a good way to try and get back into it.
Yeah, but here's that scan at the front. Sees a handful of links. There's a singular Hydra. There's 2 Sunkens. The scan's going down. Confirms that that third base is like barely even started. So it's like, I don't know, man. I think statues. It's like, I got this upgrade. I got a decent amount of Goliaths. You can see them starting to move out of the map, and I don't know how Imp survives. Let's like, not to, I'm not like gonna spoil the drama, be like, oh man, but he's got the sick micros. Like, there's no units to sick micro. That's the problem.
No.
There just isn't anything here.
There are only so many times you can do there. Will he hold sort of, you know, classic caster trick? Yeah, I don't know. It's like seeing, I don't know, a bodybuilder who's like, I don't know, 300 pounds or something. I don't know, trying to beep a child. It's like, will the child hold out? It's like, that child is dead if he just breathes on him in that. And see here, it's just whether Statues wants to cut off another limb and take out the third base first, or whether he wants to try and push the natural.
There's a couple lurkers here going to be able to slow down to push a little bit. There's no mobile detection, just scans, so, you know, still going to be able to slow things down. 1 lurker gets killed, so there's just the 2 left over here. Remember, is armor upgrades. These Goliaths are going to be quite robust, I think, even then, if you wanted to be aggressive. But he knows about the third base. He could just walk on up there and kill it. Like, there's nothing stopping him. But, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a rough one here. You can see turrets being made up right in the face of things. Like, I think the lurker's hitting it. Like, that's a bit bold.
Just please don't mind me whilst I build detection to see you. But yeah, it looks like that turret will actually. I thought SCV survived somehow. I do not know how, but yeah, as the siege tents get sieged up, and yeah, Starport coming down. I guess Imp could hold out until the vessel comes out, but this is very, very tricky. Very, very tricky to do anything here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't over-engage in a weird way, a couple lanes trying to go forward here, but still, it's a lot of Goliaths. They're about to finish the +1 weapon upgrade. I wonder if they're just waiting for that before they move in. But you can see this, that 12 o'clock base still not really being messed with at all. Statues is starting a third base of their own over at that 9 o'clock base. A lot of factories producing units, so good base layout. So Statues, everything kind of running on all cylinders, looking good here. Imp's just trying to recover from early on. And it's like, they're not on high tech, there's no defilers, no magic unit to kind of help their way through it. It's going to be a bit rough. And here comes 1 Goliath to 12 o'clock to go shoot down a bunch of drones.
And this is, yeah, your heart sinks as a Zerg. It's like, oh, the ultimate BM as well. The Goliath just shoots a drone and then walks away. And it's like, okay, I know this is here now. And it looks like Statues will try and move up and, yeah, take this out. And here we see the panic creep colonies. But again, it doesn't work this way. This is not going to last long.
Yeah, I mean, I think every time it's like, man, my cans never finish the time. Sunkens and they're never gonna finish the time, especially since they lose health when they finish. It's like, oh man, that's brutal. But here comes the move in towards the natural as well. Still plenty of Goliaths up at the front, a couple siege tanks as well, and that little leapfrogging at turrets, I think, is just slowly pushing this these lurkers back a little further and a little further. But still a lot of units. The Goliath's up at the 12, kill all drones. You're going to be able to slowly kill off that hatchery without any issue. And Imp has got to figure out a way to slow this down, maybe try to bust out, but they just don't have enough forces. I don't think he can do it.
No, no. The irony is that obviously these two sunks that I built at the front earlier on have pushed the creep forward, so statues can't actually keep on pushing his turrets forward in this regard. Really. So
These poor mutants, these 3 mutants, they flew in, it's like, I'll help. They didn't even get close enough to fire once, but that Goliath range upgrade just killed all of them immediately. Scans going down to confirm, hey, are you on another base? Like, why haven't you left this game yet? But confirms there's nothing else out here, doing a good job scouting in this situation when you're ahead. Checking for secret bases is exactly the move you want to do. But confirms Imp's still stuck on 2. And it's going to really fortify that front push. Here comes some more tanks. That's really going to help him move forward here. And we're kind of on borrowed time at this point. That hive started. I don't think it finishes.
I can't believe that we're going to get to the point where vessels actually come out and break this, really, in this sort of sense. It's, yeah, I don't know. Like you're saying, in these games, I get paranoid. Like, there's got to be a hidden base somewhere. But sometimes, no, there's just, the guy's just on 2 base. And yeah. The way things are going.
Yeah, you can't discourage me, man. I got 2 bases in a dream. I just need to get the hive tech. More lurkers are being made in the back, but there's just not a lot of units here. Siege tanks move forward. There's only a couple lurkers here. All the Sunkens are eliminated. The Hydra's going to go try it on a high ground, whatever they can get done, but there's just not enough force here. Statue's so far up on army supply, keeps moving forward. These lurkers are about to finish, but not in time, and Imp's going to tap out of game 1.
There we go. Yes. Solid game from Statues, just rolling the lead from the beginning, and yeah, knew what to do, and just a slow sort of stranglehold on him.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go on map number 2. I am concerned after watching a game like that. When if it's the Goliath build, if it's just muscle and you muscle your way through your opponent like that, your opponent's gotta try something else. Because like,
yeah.
Otherwise, like, there's no reason to think why the game wouldn't go the same way. So hopefully there is a change. Imp does hold out. We get a nice game 3. But right now for game 2, in the bottom right, currently up 1 game, it's Statues in the yellow turn. And in the bottom left, in the teal, it's Imp currently figuring out a way to hold off that nonsense build longer. Every time I watch that build, and it just wins a game like that, I'm like, why did this stop being popular?
I know. Every time I'm like, Terrence, what's going on? There's so much power to it. There are drawbacks to it, and Zigs have got better at dealing with it, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like. Yeah, because it does ebb and flow and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a strong build. I don't know why. But Statues is a very, very strong player. Again, hyper vote for game 2. Got to do it. But it's I think if there's something that Imp should do, based off that first game, it's just I feel like it was like a snowball sort of situation. Obviously, after the vultures, that just blew everything apart. So if there's an adjustment to make, just make sure those vultures don't get into main if it is the same build. And maybe if Imp is healthy, if he doesn't get thrown off, he can play a better game. We'll see.
Yeah, that sunken not being made for those vultures in time, that's definitely just like a killer. It's almost a death sentence. If you get it was 2 vultures too. It wasn't even just one where it's like it'll slowly will thin out. 2 vultures will murder your drone line immediately, and you'll never get legs around them enough to really slow things down. You got that initial barracks, waiting for that early gas to happen as well, and looks like we're gonna get hatchery first from Imp as well. So no big unusual builds just yet from between the 2 players. I'm not sure.
I guess again, it's Polyboy, it's a 4-player map, so you do feel a bit safer. But again, it makes things harder, like to cheese, I guess, really in this sort of situation. There are 9-pill builds you can do in
I mean,
And so
literally, that's all we've seen tonight. We saw a 9-pool build go out of control, and we saw Vile Tomato build absolutely everything, and like shenanigans the series. So, like when you say there's cheese, I guess no, there's definitely cheese. So you could definitely. Well, actually, no. We'll rephrase that. It's creative play.
Yes, that's that. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'll start doing that whenever someone gets angry at me on ladder after I've cheesed them for the entire time. It's like, why aren't you respecting my creative play? Like, what's going on? But yeah, things looking normal, like you say, 12 hatch, 12, 11 pool, and 10 gas. It's all fairly standard. We've got the quick gas from Terran as well, so getting up that battery and yeah, repeat, pretty much.
Yeah, don't see any reason to change it. It's not broken. Like it did so much damage the first time. Now it's just that first thing. Will the Sun could be up at times, so the Vulture can't do as much damage. I was also a little bit surprised because we saw the 2 Vultures early. I feel like a lot of times I see this build, I don't see 2 early. I just see the 1. If it can get the opportunity,
Yeah.
it's great. Otherwise, you kind of go into the armory, go into the Goliath production a little earlier. So I'm not sure if that's just like a statues thing or if you just took opportunity of the moment. It's like, oh man, if you're gonna let me do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've seen some Terrans go up to like 3 or 4 vultures sometimes, but it feels excessive, especially versus 2 hatch muta. Like if you stop the vultures getting in, it's just wasted money. It feels like sometimes, because the mutas just come out, wipe them out. But if you keep them alive, if they don't get wiped out by the muta, they can cause some shenanigans, put down mines later on and stuff like that. It can work.
Yeah, I don't know. This SCV is going to get the scouting info, but doesn't actually go into base. It just confirms the location and confirms there's an expansion up. So that's actually kind of big. Like that, no even attempt to scout around long enough to confirm Spire or Lair or Hydra or anything. Like he didn't get in the main. He has no idea what's going on from the Zerg base. Lair past the halfway point. I'm expecting it to not be Hydras because you're kind of missing the opportunity here. At first, Vulture's out. It's going to shoot these couple links. And what do I see back here?
Please.
I see an attempt at a creep quality, but that is not going to be done in time. A second one behind it. Imp, no. Come on, dude. Stop doing this. Oh, I like this, though. At the high part of the ramp, try to block with drones. That at least will give you a little bit of time, but still, it's not quite enough. Statues could go through, or you could just try to fight the 1 tier. You can see, ooh, the drone's actually getting a decent list around, doing some decent damage here. That Vulture down to 30 health. It's going to slow down the mining just a little bit here, but, I mean, this is not bad here. Now the Sunken will one-shot that Vulture whenever it goes through. But that is slowing down mining, just again. Not as big as losses, but still some nice damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a close thing. It was a close thing putting those drones on the ramp. Really save you there. And obviously, Vultures weren't able to push through. But yeah, I think this is nice from either side. Really, I think it could have been much worse.
A couple lanes being made at the natural. They're going to try to clean up that Vulture. They get in there, they clean up the threat. You're going to be able to restart your mining without too much issue here. Now, the Lair is done. It was Hydra, not Spire. So the Hydra then did get delayed a little bit, but still going to be able to maybe catch your opponent off. Here's that second Vulture. These speed links, you got to try to run it down. The Micro, not quite good enough from statues, does get that eliminated. So no big damage this time. The work count, I remember looking at it last game, it was at 15 at this point, so now 22, much healthier mid-game. You can see already working towards all these Goliath upgrades, but this is not Spire play. This is Lurkers and Hydras, so this is going to be a different look to it. Maybe Imp can get on the map, get some expansions up, or get something else done instead.
Absolutely. Seen no missile turrets yet for statues, so...
Okay, you fell for the classic trap?
Yeah. I should have waited and just keep on. Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's not. No, as soon as you finish it, they do it. But yeah, there's not like a million turrets here, so it's not like he's wasted a ton of minerals on spy defense in that regard. He's respecting that there's the possibility there, but it's doing well. He can macro up in this garden. Just I'm gonna be interested to see what these Hydras do from Imp really. And I don't know, some players wait for the Terran to like move out and then collapse on them and like try and wipe them out and stuff like that, or whether whether try and go for some sort of contain or something like that. We'll have to see what he wants to do.
Well, I mean, you see the Academy on the way. A scan will be available reasonably soon. And if you're statues, you figure at this point you would have seen the mutas.
Yeah,
If there was going to
absolutely.
be mutas, you would have seen them. So you should have an idea what's going on. There's an expansion going up at the 11 o'clock base, securing the natural for a second main. So I'm trying to get some extra economy up. You do see that behind it. They're starting to add Hydras, get those upgrades as well. They have range already completed. They're going to work on +1 ranged attack and that movement speed. So it's going to be reasonably robust Hydras. But there's not a lot of hatcheries behind this, not a lot of raw production power. And maybe even the drone count. I'm not really sure what you're looking for when you're trying to build this kind of situation. It's given statues plenty of time to build up a good economy. We're starting to add on more factories now. I'm a little concerned, but at least it's a different look. Hopefully the game goes different in the mid game.
Yeah, the one thing of as a Zerg player is like when you see mech, there's a bit of a breather. Is like you know that there won't be a big attack. Usually some Terrans will attack with a big life force like 7:30 around 8 minutes or something like that, but some will hold off for like towards 10, 11 minutes or something like that. But it gives you so much breather room to just put down a macro hatch, get up that economy, and just try and pump things out. Because if there's one thing you know is that there's not going to be a big marine medic force moving across the map to kill you, really. But
Well, I think we're seeing a different look because look how fast that Queen's Nest is. I think we're actually going to see a rush to Defiler just try to break through. We did see some scans going on. They're in the main and they do see that Queen's Nest about to finish, so should have some kind of idea. But again, they haven't seen mutas. You see the Hydra starting to move forward here. There's a decent amount of Goliaths here, but no siege tanks to help support this just yet. Siege mode's not even remotely close done either. But still, there's bunkers here. Hey, that's going to be hard to break through. If you ever tried to kill SCVs with Hydras, it's comically bad. It's so terrible.
Yeah, before 12 Ultras trying to kill a bunker was bad. Yeah, it's even worse. But it's behind this, I think Statue's making the right calls, just getting up his factory count, gonna get up his third command center as well, and just like slowly push out. But yeah, we see the hive on the way for Imp as we go forward, and be interested to see if it is this Defiler play, because I've seen a bit of like Defiler Hydra playing like ASL and like KCM and stuff like that, and it's becoming a bit more popular. And I'm not seeing it versus mech, but it'd be interesting to see how it works.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad. If you get the Dark Swarm on, you get some cracklings in the mix, especially early before the upgrades really kick in, and before Terra can kind of establish itself on the map, there might be a way to break through. Especially if you end up going for lurkers, but I don't think we saw a lurker aspect for research. I think this might be in just for lings, or just from Hydras so they can attack forward. Which, I mean, Hydras fighting a Darkstorm is already a little bit of a weird situation. But, I mean, both players just getting the economy up. It did add a lot of drones on behind this, so the economies for both players looking pretty reasonable. Statues has one Marina map looking for things. Lurkers being morphed, so I guess it was finished. But you see Statues try to push out now before the foothold really gets under trouble. And there's enough muscle. You can just kill those Lurker eggs. This is actually pretty good from Statues here. Imp's attack is kind of getting thwarted right before he has the opportunity, because these siege tanks are so good at killing Zegs.
Oh. Yeah, and losing all these legs is so rough, and the scan goes down and wipes out the one that did get borrowed, and there's so much gas down the drain, and this is awkward because now there's no Hydra force left over for Imp in this sort of situation. He's only got drones desperately trying to get out more Hydras now, but it's there's going to be a huge force moving across the map, and with these siege tanks as well, it can easily keep Imp trapped in his natural.
Yeah, you can see it's one Marine. It's slowly working around, confirming the other bases. He's gonna find this natural eventually. Man, this is the bravest boy. Like, there's no hope he ever returns home. Not like this. Science facility on the way. These factories churning out more upgrades for these factory units and adding on factories behind it. They everything to look good, but here's that first Marine. 2 Hydras to finish off. Walks right past the natural into the main. It does not care at all.
God, it's living to tell the tale. It wants the retirement. It wants to eventually get home to its family, and it's just gonna sit in the corner. No, it's gonna maybe go for the Overlord. If it kills this Overlord, I swear to God, it'll be.
No, it's just walking. I think did it get queued? Did it queued all over the map? It's just walking in and out. It sees 2 lurkers. What the hell?
The things this Marine has seen, my word, is oh my God, his stories to tell when he gets home, and I don't know if this Hydras is chasing. No, it's not. Oh my God, I cannot believe this will survive. But the story of this game is this movie, absolutely.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for him the whole time. It scales every base on the map pretty much, so it confirms exactly what we're looking at. It knows Imp's on 3 base. Sees some lurkers being morphed. That's freaking ridiculous.
Oh my God! But Yeah, statue's got up his red base and he's laughing to himself. Absolutely, he's got, like you say, got the scout off. He's seeing everything. He knows that there's nothing too tricky for Zerg, and Valley Mound is up, and it's got the consume on the way. So, but again, after losing that Hydro Pulse in the beginning, it kind of feels like that. I don't know. Is it been declawed a bit? I guess Imp in this sort of situation is forced to play passive.
Yeah, I'm actually a little concerned right now because I mean, look at this. Look at the money back it up. Does this get bugged? You think? Like, I always hate asking that, but this looks
Yeah.
suspicious.
It feels actually. I've never actually casted a bugged replay before. That's
Usually, the sign is that they stop producing units.
yeah. That's very very true. Very true. And
And
yeah,
it's like
still-
at this point, like you're finishing up your Defiler, Dark Swarm. You'd be working towards adding on maybe more hatcheries, slamming down a bunch of lings. Now you got the Adrenaline finished. I think this, man,
yeah.
not for the finals. Not like this. Do this crap in the regular season. Come on. Well, here comes the attack from statues moving across. Plenty of Goliaths, decent amount of tanks as well. I'm seeing hatcheries going down, so maybe it got fixed up or there was a big period of something. I don't know, man.
I have no idea. But it doesn't look like. If it isn't bugged, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to ask statues after this. Was this the way the game went?
I mean, statues is in here. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
Like, I see him in the chat. Like, he can answer the question for us.
Actually, yeah, statues. Was it like this? So, like, I don't know. Were you being attacked by hydras at the spot? Is the replay bugged? I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be with 4K minerals and such, unless Imp just, I don't know, gave up and was like, I'm going to make some food and.
Well, I mean, he's got these lurkers. They're not really burrowing or anything either. Yeah, it seems it. Man, that's rough. All right, so we're gonna try to fix this. At this point, it really looks it, right? But there's an upgrade going on. So there's upgrades, but not units.
Yeah. That's very weird.
Yeah, if these lurkers don't burrow, I'm gonna try to go back in time and see if we can get something here. Yeah, they're not even burrowing. All right, so here's what we're doing, guys. We're gonna try to pause. We're gonna try to reload this, just get ahead a little bit on time, see if this looks different. Like, maybe this happens. Hope it didn't. It's one of those things that just happens. We're trying to justify all these kind of strategies. So give me a second. Let me give it a look on a reload, and then we'll go from there. Everyone in the chat, just sit tight. We're trying to figure this out for you.
That's very true. I'd love to know what causes it. I don't know. I remember there was some theories about like network issues and stuff like that can cause it, but I've never really seen it. It's very strange.
Yeah. So we're gonna zoom forward. I'm gonna have the the overlay fixed up. So we're gonna zoom forward here. Just want to give it a quick look at about where we were at right here. See if the money looks the same. Yeah, no, that looks about the same.
Yeah. There's no mass lurker at the natural. This is
Yeah, there's something going on for this. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Come on, any chance this gets? Not really.
no.
Yeah, I think we're goofed on this one, unfortunately.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, so that is unfortunate. Now, what that does end up meaning is that statues was going to clean up the game. It is a 2-0 for statues. Unfortunately, we don't get to take a good look at it. You know what? Hashtag Blizzard. They care about us. They're fixing all these kind of problems. Everyone loves this kind of stuff, right? So, unfortunate that we don't get to watch the end of that, but these things happen. We do the best we can for you, but we got one more set. It's going to be Barisu. It's going to be Beanie Beans. Barisu's going to bring the fire. We're going to close it off strong for you guys. Let's get into our game number 5. Sorry about that last one. There's nothing we can do, though.
Absolutely. But no, nonetheless, what we saw of the games between statues and so it was a good series. It was fun for what we saw, I think, in that regard. And yeah.
And statues was on IKEA, correct?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
All right, so that brings our score up to 2-2. And now we're going into our 5th set here. In the top right, in the teal or that pale green Zerg, it's Beanie Beans. And in the bottom left, in the blue, it's Barisu. Barisu for Team IKEA. Amigos got Beanie Beans, and right now the score's 2-2, so very even across the tier 3. Do you want to say about Berizzo and how great of a strong player he is, but you haven't watched too many of his games?
I've already mentioned it before, man. He's the ghost here. I want to say, but no, but Barca is he's great, and I just love. I've watched a few of his. I did watch a few of his practice games, but there's always some sort of shenanigans going on. Like I say, it's if we want castable content, you've got Boris here, and he's the definition of castable content. And sometimes the games go long; it's like 40 minutes, but you can guarantee there's a nuke in there somewhere. There's a ghost. There's battle cruisers. There's some madness involved in some way.
Yeah, there's something to make a coach hate you, no matter what you do here. Now look at this though: supply depot, no barracks.
Very interesting.
So no real shenanigans just yet. Like I was like, it's Eclipse. There's always that chance. I always like every time we see Eclipse, I'm like, proxy. Someone proxy something. It's so good on this map, and it's like you watch people play CPL. No one's checking for them, but no one does it anyway. It's like what the hell? Like come on, bring out the full cheddar cheese. Make yourself the villain to the audience. Like.
I think this is scared, especially in the finals. They know they're going to get casted, and it's like, I don't want to be the villain in that sense. But yeah, Borisu here doing a good job blocking this hatch, just being a bit annoying in this regard, and yeah, just starting the game off as we expect.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. If you're trying to block the hatch and you have the money, I would tell every Terra player you should just slam an eBay down.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. It's the worst for a certain player.
It's so annoying, especially going 12 hatch and like pull a long way off. It's an absolute nightmare to do, and it's free real estate, as they say.
Well, it's also like it's so cheap, and you can cancel. It's not like a Protoss, like a pylon that either it finishes or it doesn't. It's like no, that just sits there like 200 health forever until it's about to die. So it costs you basically nothing. It just pisses the Zerg off. Like in a series, you can just rile up your opponent, like Russell the Jimmies. Oh God, you gotta do it.
Yeah, there are a few things in StarCraft that universally piss everybody off, and an eBay blocking a expansion is absolutely one of them. I used to play maybe next time a few times. I forgot what team is. I think it was on Mac and Cheese, but he used to build turrets everywhere. Like you'd go to take an expansion, and there'd just be a turret there, and he's like, "The hell is this? What? It's like 50 minutes into the game. You try to take the last base of the map, and you're like, I swear to God, if there is a missile turret, and lo and behold, there's 3 missile turrets this time. You're like, my God, man, this is madness. But anyway, I respect it. I respect annoying people. It's part of the game. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I got no problem with that, man. I actually like putting pylons down for the same reason. It's scouting info, and it's like, oh, you got to go kill that? Okay. Seems pretty good. Barisu got the expansion up. It's about to be completed reasonably soon. Second barracks on the way. Gas being taken as well, so I'm expecting some 2-Rex Academy, but this is the guy I'm not going to put my money on and make any kind of bold claims. But we are seeing a Lair and a Hydra den, so more 2-hatch Hydra. I actually would love to go back and like check the players and see if they're all on the same team, see if it's like a prepared build among the team. Because we've seen that before in some of these series where it's like they had a prepared ZVZ that they were using at multiple tiers of play. So
no, it makes sense. Yeah, get everyone using the same thing. See, a lot of lings were produced, and Bryce did scout. I think an SCV got sniped by all these lings, and as a result, he's got this bunker ready. He's got SCVs on the ramp ready for it as well. So if he tries to run by, Beans is going to be suffering.
Yeah, I mean, you see Barisu, he got the gas finished, but he's only mining 1 from it currently, so not kind of rushing to build up any kind of big tech. Academy's on the way, sneaks an SCV out across the left side. Don't know if that's going to be for scouting, get the next base up. One lane walks in, it's out of the bunker range, and it's just going to start tickling an SCV. What the fuck? Well,
yeah. So many times today we've just seen like the one Marine, the one lane they can do magic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take one link for one SCV. I'll take that every single day, all the time. The lurker aspect is nearing completion. Hydra's starting to get added on, and this SCV that managed to sneak out is going to walk in here and see a bunch of Hydras. And actually, hold on, did it just miss it? No, it's going to see that reinforcement, so it knows what's up as long as Borisu's paying attention here. It's actually going to get in the base, confirm that there's no Spire. It's definitely a Hydra 10. So all that knowledge here, but there's no real detection at the front. The Comstat's about to finish. And is there an eBay? There's a third barrack, so we're gonna have a lot of ground force here. A bunker being made up the front is a great way to stall out lurker strategies. Just keep making bunkers, make them kill multiple buildings. But eBay is just being started. It's a while before there's any real detection. It's just gonna be scans for now. But we'll see if Beanie Beans can get something done.
There's two bunkers in the front will obviously help stave things off for a bit. Scanning though, the precious resource at this point. I'm not keen on that really. And another concept is coming up in the main for Borosu, so might have something in time, but it is just going to become, like say, getting the eBay down, getting down turrets as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I really don't like that scan. He got the SCV in the base. He knew what was up. He added a fire bat as well to one of the bunkers. I think you need the range right now. You're really like hoping for what you can get here. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of links to follow us up. When it feels like every time you see this fast, it's kind of potent just on how much the lurkers can do. They started to take a little bit of damage from one of these bunkers. Gotta be careful here. That attack range for the Marines is about to finish, or is about to get started. So it's gonna be a while before it's actually finished up. Second gas being out on its way. But here's that first scan. Everything's spread out pretty decently, but that means they're not really going in here. Without the Marine range, you can really start sieging these bunkers without too much trouble at all. Beanie Beans being overly cautious right now.
This turret is coming up for Borosu here, so if these lurkers try and move forward and dive on this, he will be able to spot them if they go down. But yeah, this almost looks like a TVP where you get the Dragoons, attacking the bunker, and it's just slowly, awkwardly, something might die, I don't know, we'll see. But behind this, there are drones being produced, a few drones produced for Beanie Beans, but more Hydras on the way. I'm not sure I'm a fan, because the longer this goes on, Terran knows what's up. You may as well switch into macro, get you for a base, like say here, just macro up. No need to do anything. Turn ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. I always like with this, it's either get a lot of bases, really use the time here. Scan goes down as the Marine Rage does finish, so two lurkers get taken out. The Lynx try to move forward, but that firebat especially, making sure it doesn't get anywhere near those bunker lines. So a couple of units getting killed off from Beanie Beans. That Catane looking a lot softer than it did just a couple minutes ago. And Borosu working up the tech tree, not working on a third CC or anything, but you look at that drone. There's a third base as a 12, but there's a drone up at that top left going for that double gas.
Yeah, there's a way to get back in the game or secure a position. Getting that double gas as a Zerg it feels absolutely amazing. But for it looks like for Borosu in this position, getting up his machine shop and probably getting that siege tanks, I imagine, and we'll probably start taking down these lurkers from afar, I expect.
Yeah, Borosu did scan that third base, so knows that is not done yet. Like, sees that it's pretty far along the way, but not actually finished. Fourth base for Zerg, actually taking out the 11, not rushing for the double gas, wants to pick something that's a little bit closer, maybe a little easier to defend. And really just having a bunch of lurkers out at the front, trying to set up the soft contain, droning pretty hard behind this as well. There's a barracks being added on, no starport yet, so slowing down these vessels, Borosu, I think, could be making a better decision there. Like, trying to get that mobile detection, but whenever they move out, their army is going to be strong. They got a lot of production behind this. Now starting siege mode as well for the tanks.
Absolutely, but I think Beanie Beans, it's making, like I say, making the right call. Like, taking a lot of bases behind the sort of position is really good. Double expo, it's risky, but you can pull it off, and it's not really risky in this position because it's hard to break this lurker container at this point, really. So, yeah, I feel we'll have to see how much Beanie Beans has by the time that Borosu wants to move out.
Yeah, no real upgrades yet for either player. Finally, starport being started. A second factory being added on as well. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the RB comp is going to end up looking like here, but that will allow you to have a lot more muscle behind it. It looks like that 11 o'clock base just finished up, so let's start the top one, top left. Like, if we're just going to keep taking expansions, keep taking them. No problem there.
Bases for days, and I expect the bottom right will be taken soon as well, because why not, really, in this position? We see starport as well come down finally for Borosu, so probably going to get towards that science vessels eventually, and the siege tank finally pushing a few lurkers away, but there's so many lurkers here.
Yeah, I mean, still, this is bought all the time you need. Look at Beanie Beans, that drone count, they got 5 bases up. Queen's Nest is about to be completed as well, so you can work towards Hive Tech. They didn't rush for the Hive Tech. It's like, oh, I've got to make something happen with the stuff. Just using the lurkers, using that contain, and just buying time so you can get the economy going. I like what we're seeing. They forced the lurkers back enough where the Marines can actually move down here. They're going to get a free Overlord kill, actually 2 of them. So that's actually a pretty good little move, and now they're moving around, not through the center of the map, but around the bottom side. And these lurkers are still forward trying to do the soft contain, but back at home for Beanie Beans, there's no defensive units here. Nothing's on any ramp or any kind of choke. This could do some big damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure Beanie Beans was actually paying attention when they moved out, and some Hydras here. Oh, there are some lurkers making out the natural, so we'll be able to hold this off. But the third base, especially in the fourth and the fifth, has got nothing in it. So these Marines could, yeah, like I say, could do a lot of damage.
Scan goes down at the front, sees that there's lurkers, but they're not even morphed yet. So Borisu gonna keep moving forward here, kills a couple Hydras, getting some Overlord kills well. 3 lurkers do just spawn here. He's going for drones instead of the lurkers. The lurkers get burrowed, but the Marines get behind the middle line. Big economic damage to Beanie Beans. For the cost of a small Marine group, this is actually absolutely worth it. Borisu finding a great opportunity here.
Absolutely. I guess silver linings for Beanie Beans at this position is that obviously he's got 5 bases, so you can build a lot of drones very quickly, I guess, in this position.
And lurkers finally clean it all up, but that's a whole base completely unarmed here. There's a lot of lurkers still outside, soft contained like we were saying before, and there's still some of these Marines and medics that went through that background path that are hanging outside of the natural. That top left base does finish up, and I'm seeing a dropship being made with some more tanks as well, so this may be some kind of fun tank drop, maybe something with medic Marine to attack some of these top side bases that Borisu does know about. He did scan to at least find the 12, so he knows about that one for sure. Here comes a couple Marines up here. There's lurkers, but they're not burrowed just yet, so I wonder if he can get another nice little trade, get some drone kills for a couple bio units.
Yeah, the Marines with their medic bodyguards. Unfortunately, one medic being left behind, but yeah, this 2 Marines are just going to 9-man completely until these lurkers been. It just been annoying. This is very, very nice. They just move back and forth, just, yeah, be annoying. And now it's time for these dropships to finally come out.
Yeah, no, this is fine, plenty of time. It's like the actual bio movement, attacking as much as he can. Borisu is like playing micro arena right now. It's like these 2 lurkers will never stop me. This is fantastic to watch.
Absolutely insane, absolutely insane. One Marine have 4 kills in it as well, and finally this lurker gonna come in. But I think Marines absolutely earned their paycheck, shall we say, in this regard.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a paycheck when everything's getting killed, but look at Borisu in his base. He's got dropships. There's tanks. There's bio. There's a 3rd dropship on the way. This is gonna be a big move out to strike at one of these bases. This container from Beanie Beans, while it's slowing down any kind of movement through the center of the map, I don't think Borisu cares even a little bit.
No, absolutely. And this, with 5 hatches, you've got to make use of them. You see, Beanie Beans has got quite a lot of minerals here and stuff like that. And again, I know the stress of the situation being in finals and stuff like that, but you've got to try and push your position as much as you can. And yeah, he's been a bit thrown off, I think, with Borisu's shenanigans, as anyone would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're seeing Ultraless Cavern on the way. The Hive Tech is done. I don't know if Adrenaline got upgraded. I wasn't really looking. But the problem with going for Ultras here, Beanie Beans has not done a single carapace upgrade. He's just starting level 1 now. So they're going to be behind the gun. Here comes 2 dropships towards that natural. There's a couple lurkers here at the front, but there's a lot of units going to be dropped out here. You got 2 tanks, you got a group of bio and medics, and this is this natural is definitely trouble. It's not even going for the natural, straight for the main. Let's kill some tech.
Ironically, so from the past attacks as well, it looks like Beanie Beans hasn't replenished his mineral lines, so it's this will obviously snipe down all the tech, but you know, there's not being able to get as much done as perhaps they could do.
Ooh, these lurkers basically walking up in melee range. Scan is down, gets the detection. Lurkers trying to do as much as they can. These 2 tanks really whittling things down. Easy Borisu, he just gets those dropships out. He doesn't want to risk losing them to Scourge or any kind of nonsense like that. The lurkers get cleaned up. That force that's still in the main, still quite healthy, immediately rushing for the Ultraless Cavern. And Borisu using this time, taking the 3rd base of their own. These other bases that were taken by Beanie Beans, not super well saturated. That 11 o'clock's got a ton of drones, but all the other ones kind of low.
Yeah, it looks like in the panic of obviously trying to move drones away from the various attacks Borisu's been throwing, he's just not pulled back, unfortunately.
Oh my god, these tanks, they got so many kills. Ultraless Cavern done, working on the Hydra Den now. You can see, they're just like whittling things down. Beanie Beans can't get units back here to reinforce. Starting to work on some Ultras, that'll be good eventually when they get there. But this drop did so much value for Borisu. You can see that supply count monstrously ahead now. And like Beanie Beans, like he's got lurkers on the map, that's about it at this point. This Borisu doing these little kind of tactical moves and getting so much value out of them.
Yeah, like I say, and even though ultras are live, like you were saying before, no evos hardly throughout the game, so these are 0-0 ultras. So if you want to see something useless, it's a 0-0 ultra, again, especially against siege tanks, and we'll see how quickly they die. And,
Well, finally, here's these ultras. They're gonna clean up these tanks after killing a Hydra Den, an Ultralisk Cavern, the spawning pool, and now attempting on the hive. Half of the damage got killed off. And you can see, like, this is still just buying a lot of time here. This is actually, these ultras are actually taking significant damage. These medics keeping these Marines alive for far too long. Like, that's not right. That's not fair.
see, Barcy, I mean, he's got his fair base up. He's still got his dropships from before, and he's just been macroing. I mean, still, he's got a bit of a bank, obviously, in that regard. But again, just load up those dropships, take the rest of it, well, take out the other map and other bases on the map, and he's laughing, I would say.
Well, despite all the damage that's been done, you see that BB's got a lot of bases, but look at what we're looking at. Top left, he's just adding gas on now. The 11 o'clock, he's been mining gas, and he's actually kind of turning that into his main, like main part 2, the sequel. But the 12 o'clock, the extractor never got taken. There's nothing mining in the main. There's never been an extractor. So trying to go for ultras at this point that are behind on upgrades, you don't even have the gas to support this. And look, 4 more dropships up to the 11 o'clock. There's no use to defend this, but this is a monstrous move for Borsu. He's going to be able to shut this down again. That Ultraless Cavern will not stand.
Absolutely. And Zerg just melting here. A few lurkers not going to be able to do anything. Just sitting there. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. Beans had the right idea with the bases, just not utilizing them best as he could in this sort of situation. But yeah, it's stressful, very, very stressful.
Yeah, this is a bit ridiculous. Finally, the Lurker's up at the front. She's going to try to move forward, but there's a ton of Marines, ton of tanks. Scan goes down. The Lurkers don't even burrow, get a shot off before everything's cleaned up here. Borsu is just powering through at both fronts, and they're going to be able to clean up these bases. There's just nothing here to really defend it. He even pulls back the dropships, doesn't want to bring any units with it, but should be critical damage. I think Beanie Beans is toast on game 1, and Borsu looked real good. It's like, yeah. I don't know what to say. No nukes, but solid play.
No, absolutely. Reading the situation with the lurkers as well. You know, a bit lacking with the scans and stuff like that, but it's, you know, held on, did it well, stopped the advance, and yeah, just go up his dropships and secure the game.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to game 2. Borsu, you gotta get back in tier 2, dude. Like, if you're gonna play like this, like, you should not be in tier 3 anymore. This is ridiculous.
Just like, abusing these poor tier 3s who just fresh, trying to learn Brood War. Why is this exciting game? And then they meet Borsu in tier 3, and it's a horror.
Yeah, this freaking bully of a Terran player, just a brutalizing. But we're gonna go to game 2. You know, Beanie Beans, maybe going for a different strategy will work better. Lurkers, I do feel like you gotta be careful. The Contain was reasonable. It just was a little too far back. Didn't see that move out. It kind of all went from there. But we're going in game 2. In the bottom right, in the blue, it's just Barisu, currently up 1 game. And in the bottom left, in the pale yellow, it's Beanie Beans. Looking for answers for all those dropships, which I know the feeling, man. Fuck dropships. I hate that crap. You want to piss me off? Drop 4 vultures in any of my bases once. I will hate you forever.
Again, some universal things that piss off every StarCraft player. And I think dropships is up there, definitely up there, and like I say, along with like Dark Templar and building eBays and piling blocks, everything. It's definitely up there, but yeah. I feel like, dropships, again, something that I don't see too much.
Whoa. This is a very early SCV scout, right? Or no? Like, it feels early, right? And a second one behind it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no, so build for the wall. Okay, no, I think Borsu maybe just early scouts, maybe trying to catch the shenanigans, but that felt early.
Yeah, you never. It's always at the start of the game. You're like, oh, it's just that you see them scout. You're like, oh, it's but respect to Barasu, not going for the cheese in this regard. Just wants to push through.
Well, this is now. If we're talking cheese, maybe it's Beanie Beans with the cheese. What is this that we're seeing here? He got a lot of money up on 10. Is this a 10 hatchery? Like, I don't know what this is, but it's interesting. I don't think I like it. Honestly, on a macro map, I don't think you need to be doing anything weird like this. There's an early drone scout as well, and he's going the wrong direction. He's going to find Borsu last, unfortunately.
This is a 10-9. I'm pretty sure this is 10-9. I'm surely it's. There's still no overlord here, so there's got to be a spawning pool soon, surely. Actually, just getting up.
Uh,
I'm not overly sure what's happening.
There's
Oh,
the
there we
spawning
go.
pool, just a little bit delayed here, and it's going to be the gas behind it. So, not a build I'm super familiar with. The Overlord does scout down at the bottom, who's not going to go too far in, but sees the barracks on the low ground, not completed yet. You can want to walk me through like what this build's trying to do for Zerg.
I mean, it's just link floods. I mean, everything's a bit delayed. I mean, maybe Beanie Bean's just a bit frazzled, unfortunately. But yeah, it's not building out of his supply either, really, out of his lava. So yeah, but the idea is just to get, as we see in ZVZ, you get quick 100 gas and pull off, get your then get your what's it called, link speed, and just rally lings and press Z and hope you win the game. Is kind of the name of the game. But yeah, I think Beanie Bean's just feeling the pressure a bit, just everything a bit delayed, a bit off, and actually fighting SCV here, and isn't going to lose that drone, thankfully. But yeah, Barasu playing solid behind this, scouts everything, sees things are probably a bit weird, and just got his bunker up in the good position.
A couple of those last years made for Zerg kind of questionable to me. I saw 2 Overlords being made while they were at 10 out of 10 supply. I saw some drones getting made right before the spawn pool finished. IKEA was to get the first 6 links out immediately. So you're really giving Boris a lot of time to get established. You can see, look at that building placement. The depot barracks all together, surrounding a bunker. There's a low ground expansion already set up. Like, I think this Sim City for Boris is fantastic to deal with something like this. And Beanie Beans maybe made a couple decisions that are going to slow this down just enough for Boris to really be able to defend this without too much issue. But he's not even. Beanie Beans got plenty of gas. He hasn't started that lane speed yet.
No, yeah, I just maybe isn't the right frame of mind of what's going on, unfortunately. And yeah, it's gonna be tricky to try and get through this. It could try and run by this, and just go for the main. They're on their SCVs and ramps and stuff like that. But without link speed, it's very hard to pull off that. You really need link speed to kind of just go for it. And this SCV actually was hidden in Beanie Bean's base as well, so comes back in and sees, well, you've got no drones, so it just must be links.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, getting a real big knowledge about what's going on. And even like before the SV got back in Sky, you're seeing 3 barracks from Borisu before Academy. So just get the units. Just make sure you're alive. Even engineering bay at the front, just to block off stuff. I love what we're seeing here. It's all very good decision making for Borisu. That's not crazy out of adaptation. A couple links chasing the scouting SV to the top left of the map. But here come the links. They're going to try to go in. The bunker has plenty here. But because of this Sim City, the links can't get on the bunker. Repairs going down as well. These lanes taking a lot of free damage. The bunker not even really affected at all because of the repair, and everything gets cleaned up before it gets anything done. Oh, the attack for Beanie Beans fumbles is probably as worse as you could possibly hope for. Maybe running the main at that point. That might be the better path. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, it's pretty much all you can do. I mean, you're not going to be able to take down a bunker with repairing in that regard. But Beanie Beans has to try and pick himself up in this regard. He's getting up his layer, thankfully. He's spending that gas. Needs to try and get up some drones instead. He's got a lot of links, and maybe could try and go for something again. But with 3 racks, like you say, there's gonna be so many marines coming out for Borisu, and it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, so he started to throw behind us now, but like you've seen like what it was. It's 3 racks. It's a lot of marines being made. You already have the wall at the front, so it's like you're not gonna lurker break that. Like, the eBay's already there, you can see it. So it's like, turrets are going to be an option. The Academy is done as well, so it's going to be even harder to get through once, like, these comp stats get made. But it's like, it's also been a lot of Marines, like, slower than normal mutas don't seem good. I'm not sure what the plan's really going to be here, other than trying to be exceptionally greedy, which that's not what we're seeing here.
No, absolutely, and it's... I'm really not sure here. It's got a creep colony out the front, which, again, it feels like wasted, really, but it's a lot of investment at this point in the game. And yeah, I don't know. It feels like Boris's game at this point.
Yeah, scans going down for Borisu in the main, confirms no tech, but it does confirm the layer is complete, so there is going to be that next step. It's still just a lot of drones for Beanie Beans. We can see how far in a hole he is worker-wise because of the opening. Very committed early on, and with the attack not working, he's got so much catching up to do. I think if Borisu scanned the natural confirmed no tech either way, you could just prep for a decent push when you get like your marine upgrades set up, and then like how are you going to get stopped?
Absolutely.
rush in for Queen's Nest. Okay, this is a move I could at least see the attempt as like we're not getting any lair tech, just rushing for Darkstorm. Maybe that's going to be enough with some links, but he never even got link speed, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's still nothing. And again, might just forgot it in the stress of the situation, but he's got up a few drones, but really needs more. He did spot the move out from Borisu here, and he's got a lot of lings, and there's just so much here. There's just so much here. Throw down another creep colony, and we'll probably throw down another here. And it's a lot of investment. We'll hold on and prolong the game, but it's so much investment here.
I mean, you're saying that. I'm not even sure about that. You see the +1 and the Marine Ranger are both about to finish. Stim's already done, I think. So it's like, man, this is dicey because these are like they're just working in now. Borisu not going to overcommit. He's actually walking up to where maybe a third base would be to shut it down, and he's going to find nothing there. So Borisu probably feeling real good. It's like, wait, is this 2-base versus 2-base and you don't have tech? I feel pretty okay with this. Rushing towards that hive, like I was saying, Queen's Nest finished. Immediately the hive goes down behind it. There's no Hydra, no Lurker, no nothing behind this. The Link's going to try to move out, but that could be an indication for Borisu to try to fight them and just whittle down these forces even more.
See at home, there's still this monstrous wall as well, so it doesn't even matter if he does try to run by. It's just going to get wiped out as he tries to go by. Obviously, will call for supplies, reinforcements, should I say, if you try and go through. But yeah, I'm not a fan of trying to move in at this point.
And more racks being added on, so borders are going to be up to 5 racks adding on the factory as well. So if they want to go for science vessels, tanks, whatever kind of choice they're going for, and the SCV is going up to that top right, so you'll be able to get another base up if they're looking for it, or just making sure B&B is on 2 base, not trying to take anything too crazy, even breaking Marines off the group. So I think he's just confirming that we're playing against 2 base here.
That hive is eventually going to finish, so I expect the Palamon to be thrown down immediately, but yeah, again, just not using all the lava and the natural and stuff like that. Just try and drone up, try and get things going, you know, and that's, you're on 2 base, you've got to accept that situation, so yeah, try and maximize all your mineral patches and stuff like that, and yeah, there we go, we see the hive finish now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't even know, like, he's just spending a lot of money, like, he's adding on hatcheries, but it wasn't earlier to get the larva up. You can see he's finally trying to take a 3rd base over the 9 o'clock. And this is what I was kind of thinking might happen. It's an Ultraless Cavern. So trying to hope that's like, if I bank up all the money, because I saw how much gas is getting banked up, and I just try to slam out Ultras, but Borisu's got +1. He's got a lot of Marines. They're getting the upgrades. And it's like, these Ultras just aren't going to, they're going to not do enough. They're going to die really quickly.
Yeah, again, like, Ultras are, they're 2 sides of the component. You need the Evo and the upgrades, everything to kind of make them useful. And see Marines moving in now, just focusing down this wall, and it's just going to be nothing left for Beans.
Yeah, all the lanes go down, all the sunkets go down. The hive tech's done, and you can see the drones trying to retreat. They're going to get obliterated, even the overlords too. So massively for Borisu. There's just no tech that is like I think you can use to outplay your opponent. That's what I was really hoping for Darkstorm. Like you can do magic with Darkstorm, but this Ultraless Cavern at natural is going to get taken out. There's 1 Ultra in production. Not even going to be able to get the Carapace upgrade or anything. So really everything going as bad as possible for Beans, unfortunately. And Borisu even finds that 3 o'clock or the 9 o'clock base, that 3rd for Beans. So everything that could go wrong is going wrong, unfortunately, and Borisu looking like they're going to clean this up without any issue.
Absolutely. Beans being in the spirit, at least he's not serious about this. GG, well played. Very nice from Beans. Solid games from Borisu. Yeah, nice match.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Whenever you do an all-in like that and it doesn't work, it's hard to know how to try to recover, but
no.
Alright, so that means IKEA gets another game. We're going to end the Tier 3 and our finals cast of tonight with Team IKEA at 3 points and Amigos at 2. Very close series so far. Everyone, if you're having a good time, you know, there's a channel. You can follow it. You can subscribe. There's a Ko-fi link. There's all sorts of crap. Thank you, Kamadas, for joining me for tonight's cast. And for tomorrow, we're to you and me tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, same time, same place. We'll keep the games going and yeah, get this finals casted.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 days in a row, probably the same start time all 4 nights, so around the 7 p.m. EDT. The time we start tonight, it's going to be happening probably the whole time. Later on in the for the more advanced games, that's where you're going to see Nablime. So I know you guys want him. Don't worry, he's coming. But you know what we're going to do? we're gonna raid, and we're gonna raid Jinjin. If you don't watch Jinjin on YouTube, you're fucking up. You need to go watch Jinjin 5000. So we're gonna raid him, show him some love, and we'll see you all tomorrow, 7 o'clock EDT, same time as tonight, and we're gonna start at the tier 2.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Yeah, and Jinjin's absolutely fantastic. Please stick around.